match up girls too?
So we'll go 3 girls, 10 boys. Girl. Yeah.
Making the play.
He gets the pin. Raiders are clawing their way back in this game.
Just snipes one.
It's over. Save. Oh my God!
Did you see that? Great diving play. He's hit a touchdown. Hastings Raiders win the ball game.
Welcome to Hastings High School, where tonight we have a triangular showdown of top 15 programs coming to Hastings High School, hitting the mats near you. We got the Wayzata Trojans heading east towards Hastings. They're going to battle us first round. The second round will be Prior Lake versus Wayzata, and the last round will be Prior Lake versus Hastings. It's alumni night here at Hastings. There are a ton of fans coming into town. This is going to be an exciting night for wrestling. Starting off with that Wayzata-Hastings match, I'm Kyle Kreiser, as always, joined by Mitch Sheeman. Mitch, looking at this Wayzata duel starting out, it's going to be a nail-biter.
Yes.
What matches are we looking for in this match?
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a nail-biter, and it's going to really come down to a few key matches, because if you look at Wayzata, they're very, very strong in the low weights. They're very, very strong in the upper weights. Okay, Hastings is banged up, right? So we're looking at a couple of key matches that I've got started. My big one is 114. A couple of key wrestlers, 2 top 10 wrestlers in the state, just going to be going at it, and we'll see what the coaches do, right? I know Beckett Edstrom just wrestled down in the at Simley. Okay, and then and he wrestled at 121 pounds. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted here. But then he wrestled 121 yesterday. But then you look at Wyatt Conan. He's also wrestling at 114 pounds. I wonder if they want to bump up to try to sneak some points their way there, because they have a couple of key small guys at 107 pounds that they could throw out as well.
The beauty of this dual meet is Coach Hanneberg, who can see on air right now, has some flexibility with our lineup. He can juggle guys around a little bit. He might take Beckett Edstrom, bump him up to 121. They do have guys at that weight class. They also have some flexibility in their middle of their lineup too. The key to this dual meet is getting bonus points in those matches where you're favored.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're looking at it, you want to have, if you're Hastings, you really want to have a lead going into those final 2-3 weights, right? So if you're looking at those weights, what are you looking for your big swing matches?
Yeah, and we're going to start off with a key match right away. Hastings is going to send out 8th grader Sully McNamara, taking on state-ranked Peter Schutz, an 8th grader currently ranked number 10, just broke the rankings recently. Schutz is a tough kid, a seasoned wrestler. Even though he's an 8th grader, he's been wrestling for a long time. He's deep on a single shot early on, tries to elevate, dumps him down, gets the finish there with an early 3-0 lead for the Trojans.
And if you're Sully right now, we've had him down in our wrestling room. He's a tough kid, okay? But one thing that you're looking for right now is you're saving team points. Try to slow that match down, keep it nice and close, and see what you do.
Yeah, and if you're Wayzata, you need bonus points in the worst way early on. Schutz cuts him, tries to go on his feet. It's a 3-1 lead now.
Now, Schutz did wrestle Will Bainbridge, who, again, hopefully is going to be coming back into the lineup soon. Sully in on a shot, trying to control those elbows as much as he possibly can.
Heads down, though. Probably not going to score here. He's got to get his leg back. As they run out of bounds, he's going to get the takedown, though, as Sully's hands stay in. If there's a point of contact on the mat, the wrestler is able to finish that shot.
Yeah, and I was mentioning this before. Will Bainbridge, our other 107-pounder, who's a little banged up, hopefully get him back in the mix. He wrestled Schutz earlier in that Christmas tournament and won 15-6, but Sully's is different than Will, right? Yeah. So Sully's got his own game plan going into this match.
Yeah, so Schutz up 6-2. He tries to cut him, go back on their feet. He's had success so far. Schutz elevates that leg, tries to dump. Good hips by Sully if he can kick out. They run out of bounds, but he's going to give him the takedown as he keeps a point of contact. You see that toe staying in on the mat. To your point, Mitch, you talked about Will Bainbridge. Bainbridge is a 9th grader for us. He's currently ranked number 4 in the state, but he's been battling a knee injury all year since really the Christmas tournament.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we've had to we've been without Will for quite a while. But Sully's been wrestling quite well. He's won about 3/4 of the matches that he's wrestled on the varsity level. And so to have a backup at that quality is a really nice thing for Hastings.
Absolutely. He's stepped up this year, and as he's trying to battle this, not give up a takedown, he's got to be careful there. Now, knowing Sully, he's kind of funky, right, at different positions. So he's got to be careful not to give it up, but he does give up the 3, but luckily we didn't get put to our back.
Yeah, and it's Wisely just bails out.
Yep.
That'll extend the score here as we run out of bounds. Short time with 6 seconds left. I believe they'll update the score in just a second.
Yep,
you can see the score clock here in Hastings, not a little bit on cue, but it's 12-3 in favor of Schutz. Two strong 8th graders going at it to start off this duel. We talked about the importance of this match too. If Sully can save team points and not give up a pin, that really helps the Raiders' chances in this duel meet.
Yeah, we know it's gonna be a razor tight finish. So again, every point matters, and that's one of these matches. Trying to keep this, if you can keep it, he's down 12-3. He's got the major right now. If you can keep it to a major, keep it to a tech, just don't get pinned, is what you're trying to tell Sully right now.
Raiders' choice, second period, they choose down. Schutz has cut him three times, I believe, already with the 3 escapes. 12-3 early lead in the second period. He's taken him down a handful of times already. Kind of that same single leg shot that he's been successful with. The one time that we did take a shot, our head was down and he scored on us. Another escape that'll be back on that single leg yet again. He shoots on that same side every single time. Gets another takedown. It'll be 15-4. Schutz is going to cut him again. Tries to lock up a cradle. He does have that locked up. You got to be careful here. Now he's got that knee locked up tight as well. That's a world's tightest. That is not a good position to be in.
He scooped the knees, trying to walk it to the head. Sully is tough. Gets turned here.
Good hips by McNamara, but he's in danger right here. Got to keep that shoulder off the mat. Awfully close to giving up a pin.
He looks like that left shoulder of his is off the mat. That's what the ref was looking like. Looks like Schutz is able to drop it just a little bit.
Switches off, has a different grip here.
1 minute left here.
And he gets the pin. So that'll be 6 points early on for Wayzata. We talked about the importance of not giving up a fall here. Unfortunately, Sully could not keep his shoulders off. Wayzata with an early 6-0 lead. Just for our fans at home that aren't real familiar with wrestling, every pin is worth 6 points. A technical fall, which means you win by 15 points or more, would be 5 points. And then you kind of work your way down with the score. All right, let's see what happens here. We'll see which team checks in first. This will dictate a lot in terms of who they send out.
Yeah, and they dictate who has to send out at the very beginning of the match. And they do basically a coin flip, and somebody has to represent a person first. And my guess is Wayzata had to send out and go first, and then Hastings adjusted their lineup.
Yeah, and it looks like Wyatt Kunon is going to be sent out for the Trojans, the number 3 ranked wrestler in the state. He's going to take on 9th grader Landon Zajac. Wayzata heavily favored here. He is an absolute stud.
Yes.
In on a shot, dumps over Zajac, gets the quick takedown as he drives across. Early 3-0 lead for Kunon.
And Landon's in the same spot Sully was, right? Trying to save team points as much as he possibly can.
He's got a little leg jerk here as he extends him out. He's getting easy back points. Zajac is tough, though, I'll tell you. He fights like heck. He's been in this position before where he's had to save team points. But this is a different level good. You're talking about a stud in Kunon who took second at the Christmas tournament.
Yeah, he's only lost 2 matches all year long.
Yeah.
Right?
Correction, he did lose a couple matches at the Cheesehead tournament.
He did medically forfeit. I took a look at that. He's got this bar that's nice and tight.
Gotcha. So to your point, only 2 losses, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Boy, Zajac really fighting that shoulder off the mat.
That's tight.
And he gets the pin. All right, that'll be 6 more team points for the Trojans. That'll make it 12-0 in favor of Wayzata, which will take us to 121. This will be another interesting match. Hastings is going to send out 8th grader Beckett Edstrom, as you see Kunon locking up that armbar. All right, Edstrom's going to take the mat. Looks like Charlie Williams is going to take the mat. Let's find out to make sure. Yeah, this is Charlie Williams. Charlie Williams, a 9th grade state qualifier last year. These guys actually have a history. At the 9th grade state tournament last year, Edstrom actually beat him 10-3. Williams has grown a little bit into his 121 frame. He's long and lean. Edstrom's wrestled all over the series. Wrestled a little bit at 107, a lot at 114, and a little bit at 121 on occasion. They need him tonight in the worst way. They need this win to get him right back in this match.
Absolutely, and he wrestles a lot at 114 pounds, but he's a very small 121 pounder.
Yeah.
121 pounder. He is
rolls through.
He is ranked at 114. Okay, now I'm sitting here, I'm getting a little excited again.
Good hip action there by Edstrom. If he can keep his hips up. Advantage Edstrom right here, his head's up. Good scramble position for both wrestlers. Somehow, Williams hangs onto that leg. Now he's in an advantage position. Somehow, Edstrom kicks out of this.
Yeah, he came up right through the middle, and they kicked out. He's got a hard whizzer here.
He's got that shin whizzer locked up, but now he elevates that leg, comes up to his feet, tries to dump him over.
They're still battling. He still has that whizzer in where
Williams in good position here, though, as he's got that leg shelved. Tries to roll through with this. Tries to go 3 in a row. Can he dump him and get it? It's close to a takedown. Nothing yet. They wave off a takedown. Edstrom's got to get his leg back.
And he's trying to drive.
He's close. There it is. And he's got it in the top position, too. This is getting the takedown. Possible near fall. They're going to call potentially dangerous, but he will get that takedown.
And if you saw that scramble at the very end, he was trying to push off with that right leg, could weight back into him and come up on top, and it really worked out well with him.
Yeah, good scramble there. I don't know how Edstrom stayed on top there. Somehow got into a 3 in a row position from that single leg and finished him off for that takedown.
But that was about a 30-second scramble.
It was. 2 young wrestlers going at it early on in this match, which is a key weight. He's got an armbar locked up here. See if he can do something with it. He's got short time to run it. He's got an armbar half, and he's got that locked up tight. Just slips out a little bit.
He's got that far wrist. Again, he's baiting it with the half, then going to a wrist. Almost the same position that Conan was in earlier.
A little bit about Beckett Edstrom. He has been on a tear of late. Last week, he beat the number 2 ranked Sam Moore from Zumbrota Mazeppa in AA. He's also beaten Gigi Bragg from Anoka twice. He was 5th at the Bi-States, 8th at the Christmas tournament. He's been wrestling extremely well as he locks up a cradle with short time. See if he can get some back points here.
He's got the 4 back points locked up. Now see if he can adjust. It looks like that shoulder's just off the mat a little bit.
Boy, we might be going back up top the second period.
That was an excellent last-minute turn. But here it is. Watch him push off with this right leg, get all of that weight going back into him, and he's able to adjust his hips on top.
But at the same time, good scramble by Williams to fight that off. Wayzata's going to go neutral in the second period. They look pretty good. He got deep on some shots a couple times. Williams very long. You can see his advantage is his length and his leverage.
Smart there by lifting up at that elbow by Beckett.
He's going to hook that ankle if he can. He's going to be awfully close to a takedown.
But he's also working for that cradle. Has he got a cradle
locked up? No takedown yet. He's got a cradle locked up, though. He should have the 3-point takedown. And now Williams is in dangerous position here as Edstrom gets awfully close to a pin as he gets that shoulder over with that cradle. See if he can flatten him out. Williams breaks that grip. No back points.
I thought he swiped a couple of times, but it was going back and forth between the two. He's gotten him in the cradle a couple of times. It looks like he's going right back to it, almost for that lift and split position.
10-0 lead so far for Beckett Edstrom about halfway through this match. Boy, if the Raiders could get bonus points in this match, that would be huge for team morale, but also the team score. He's got a cradle locked up. Again, just can't get that grip, though. Williams wisely holding on to that wrist. You can hear Coach Swenson shouting out controls, grab the wrist control, stop that cradle.
He's got 50 seconds to work from the top position, and Beckett is very, very strong in this position. Right?
He is.
And I like the way he keeps that pressure on, and you could see it right there, just kind of grinding, and it made the ref call that stall, which makes the bottom guy move around, maybe gives you a couple more open opportunities for a turn.
As a reminder for our fans, 2 stall warnings does equal a point for the wrestler that was not called. So you can see Williams getting called for stalling in the second period is advantage Beckett Edstrom for sure. He's got that wrist control. He's trying to snake a leg in if he can try to avoid a roll.
And it looks like Charlie Williams just has that wrist, and he's able to ride that wrist as much as he possibly can, not allowing Beckett to go from move to move. Yeah. At this point, his job is to also save team points, right? Yeah. He doesn't want to get turned again. Now, 13 seconds in this second period. If I'm the coach of the Raiders, I'm not going down, right? So do you go back on top or do you go back on the feet?
You did get a quick takedown in that second period. You do need basically 2 takedowns for a tech fall, which would be helpful, but you've had some success. So far in that top position. Let's see what they decide to do here. Hastings' choice. Oh, it's actually Wayzata's choice.
Okay, so we went back. Oh.
Okay, they're going to go neutral. So we went on our feet second period. We must have missed that. So Wayzata's going to choose down. We're going to give him the escape and go back on our feet. 10-1 lead for Beckett. We'll need 2 takedowns for the tech fall, which with a 2-minute period, that's totally doable. Edstrom has not gotten in on the shots yet. He does have a good shot.
He's looking for that. He's almost into that slide pie position with that left arm. I like it, trying to rip it off into a Russian tie. There it is. That Russian tie where he's got that wrist and the elbow. Right, pressuring in. There's his shot.
See if he can work up with this. He's got a single leg. His feet are still on the mat. See if he can dump him. He comes up to kind of a cradle lock. See if he can keep him on the mat. Williams playing the edge here. See if Beckett can pull him back on. Just gives it the single. He's going to start over. Williams has been warned for stalling. They might call him again if he doesn't circle back on.
Yeah, and that was actually very savvy wrestling on Williams' part at the end. Okay, because if he starts bailing out, trying to just get a reset, he's absolutely dinged for stalling for the second time.
Yeah, and the importance of circling and staying on the mat is huge in wrestling, because if you back out, you do get one for stalling. In this case, you'd be giving up a team point, or a match point, excuse me. 10-1 lead for Beckett Edstrom. He's got just over a minute to operate. Raiders looking for bonus points. They have the major in line. A major would be an 8-point victory or greater. You get an additional team point if you were to get a tech fall, which again, we need 2 more takedowns to get.
And if you're Beckett, you're trying to push the pace. You can see his hands are moving a little bit more. His feet are moving a little bit more. He's going for bonus points. Wants another takedown. A takedown to his back would be huge.
Good shot there by Edstrom. See if he can dump him here. If he can pop his head to the side and drive across, he might have it. If he can pop his head out, he's in good position. He's going to get a takedown. He might need one more.
Sorry, Charlie Williams was sitting there trying to roll it through. Beckett nicely and wisely kind of
and he gets the bonus point to boot as he backs out. It's now 14-2. He needs one takedown. He's got 33 seconds to get it. Let's see if Edstrom can push the pace. We saw a good shot attempt. See if he can really get him off balance and get that takedown. Williams knows he can't give up anything more. That long leverage is a factor here, though.
He's trying to cut the corner, but Williams has that elbow, which is tough.
If you're Beckett here, clear it out. Get another shot attempt. Trying to get that elbow out, but it's just a little too deep.
With 15 seconds, Williams wisely tries to lock up. If you're Beckett, you're trying to scoot your hips around the corner, but he's right on the edge, so this is going to be a tough one.
Good roll through. He's got 3 seconds to operate here now. We need a takedown for that tech fall. You can see Coach Swenson telling him, you got 3 seconds, you got to circle.
Watch this blast double coming right off.
And they run out of time, but that will be a major decision. That is an additional team point for the Raiders. That's a big win for the Raiders as the lead gets narrowed down to 12-4.
And when you look at that match, that turn at the very end of the first period really kind of changed, the way Beckett was moving on the feet, right? So all of a sudden you went into the second period with a 7-0 match rather than just 3-0.
All right, that'll take us to 127, where Brock Lundstrom, the young 8th grader, is going to take the mat. Looks like Wayzata is going to send out Zeke Rodriguez, a 9th grader. So we got an 8th grader taking on a 9th grader here. 2 underclassmen going at it. This is a big match in the dual meet, too.
This is one of those matches where we had circled where it's going to be
Rodriguez in on a single early. Man, we've seen those Wayzata kids get on those single legs multiple times here. He's elevated that leg already. He's got Brock in a dangerous position here.
Brock wisely trying to keep him away, keep that space.
Elevates, trips, and gets that early takedown. Brock right up to his feet again, 3-1. Back to that single leg again. Tries to roll through. Can't do it. That's now another takedown, 6-1. See if Rodriguez cuts him again. It's now 6-2. Brock's going to get in on his offense and not allow Zeke to get his shot.
Now again, you're trying to tie up those arms as much as possible, right? You've been in that single twice. Tie up his hands, tie up his wrists, see what you can do.
Lundstrom, only an 8th grader, as we mentioned, has really battled all year long. Has wrestled a lot of upperclassmen. As he gets a whip over here, Zeke's in a good position. Lundstrom's got to be careful. He's got a minute to fight off his back. Zeke's in a power position here. Not a good place to be if you're Lundstrom.
Yep, trying to work that shoulder through as much as you possibly can.
Tries to slide that arm through. If he can slip that grip, that would really help his cause.
Starting to get it through. There it goes.
Good work by Lundstrom to fight that arm through. Not an easy position to be in. He is going to get the 4-point near fall, though, so that'll take it from 6-2. I believe it's going to be 13-2 because he got the takedown in the near fall. As he's got Air Force locked up here.
This is a tough position to be on because you're trying to pull that shoulder back just a little bit and then thread your arm through. Brock's just as much as he can try to get that shoulder and that elbow down.
Comes up to his feet.
Strong position. Brock's battling, but at the same time, he's got that one leg. He's not going to get turned here.
Good wrestling by Lundstrom to fight off his back. Let's see if they update the score here. I believe it should be 13-2. He got the 3-point takedown with a 4-point near fall. Wayzata's going to defer in the second period.
And
It's Lundstrom's choice. He's going to go down.
And if you watch that whip over, Zeke just got a little bit of a little turn on Lundstrom's shoulders, and he was able to throw him to his back.
Correction, Wayzata's going to go down in the second period. This is Lundstrom's probably best position. Oh, as he hits a beautiful Granby roll. Boy, he set that up really nicely.
Yeah,
Just got a little bit of an angle, and next thing you know,
it's hard, especially when you don't expect, you're not expecting it at all, right?
Yeah, and these are unfamiliar foes. We don't wrestle Wayzata very often. Definitely guys we are not used to wrestling. So 15-2 in favor of Zeke early in the second period. Now, if you're Brock Lundstrom, you have to really think about, we got to save team points here. Escape for Lundstrom. One takedown will do it. So we've got to really get on our offense here.
But you don't want that inside tie. He's shot that single leg a couple of times.
Head is down here. We don't want to be in this position.
Control. If you're Brock, you're controlling elbows as much as possible. Looks like Zeke's trying to cut the corner for that last takedown.
Lundstrom trying to fight it here. Zeke awfully close to another takedown. Nothing yet, but he does have that leg elevated. Does have that wrist control. If he can keep that down, he has a chance.
He's pinching that leg, trying to keep Lundstrom off of balance. Lundstrom's battling those wrists at the same time, trying to throw in a wizard.
And there's the takedown.
Yep.
And that'll end the match. So that's a 5-point victory for Wayzata as they extend their lead 17-4. A big win for Wayzata. We looked at that match as kind of a possible swing one. Zeke Rodriguez proved us all wrong. He dominated that match against Brock Lundstrom.
Yeah, and as you're looking at matches going forward, right? We knew Wayzata was very, very strong down low, and now it's Hastings' turn to try to claw back.
And this is where you start seeing the tide shifts, right? We should be favored probably in the next 3 or 4 matches with Trey Bisel taking the mat for the Raiders. This is one that you circle that you say you have to get a pin here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're looking at this. Wayzata's, their coaches are doing the exact opposite of what Hastings is doing, right? At the beginning of this match, what Hastings wanted to save some team points. Now Wayzata is trying to save.
They're going to send out senior Mike Graves, who was 6th at the sections last year. Smart move sending out a savvy senior against Trey Bisel. They're not going to send out their talented 9th grader in Cohen. Bisel tries to go upper body as he goes from a shot to his upper body underhooks as he runs him out of bounds. Early stall call on Wayzata as he flees the mat. Trey Bisel, a Minnesota Gopher recruit, former state champ that last year at the state tournament got injured. He's on a redemption story this year trying to get that state crown again. So far, Graves battling hard, though, against Bisel.
Yeah, but Trey's at his best when he continually attacks. He attacks from the feet. He's very, very strong on the feet, and he can get to a quick turn, as you can see right there. Nice high C, right into a turn.
He's got that arm bar tilt that Spencer Lee in the college ranks is so well known for. Gets not only the near fall, but now he's going to cut him and go back on his feet. Raiders don't want to attack fall, though. They want a pin here. He's going to elevate, drive across, and gets that takedown. Beautiful takedown by Trey Bisel. And now he's got him on his back in a dangerous position. See if he can get a pin. And he gets it for the Raiders. And just like that, they're back in the dual meet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at Trey, he was just working for a takedown to his back each and every time. But he's at his best when he's attacking, right? And he just attacked, and then finally he was able to get that those both shoulders down. Watch this blast here. Comes through, picks him up, and then he nicely brings him back down to the... Nicely and forcefully, right? Yeah. Down to the mat, under control.
All right, so now we get up to 139 pounds. The Raiders closing the dual score down to 17-10. They're going to send out Talon Little Soldier, the young 10th grader, just coming off an injury. He's going to take the mat, it looks like, against Jake Luther. Luther, a senior, excuse me. This should be advantage Hastings, too. On paper, if you look at the records, we should be favoring this one. Talon, very up and down season in terms of his record. When he's on, he can beat state ranked guys.
Absolutely. When he's on, he's on.
And when he's at the bi-states, he looked awesome. He was beating guys from Wisconsin that were state ranked.
He's definitely a kid that he'll accept the challenge, right? He doesn't care who he's wrestling. He'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. Now, you see there's a wrap on his hand. He's coming back from injury, still working back, right? But now it also looks like Jacob's also coming back from an injury of some sort. Both right hands taped. We'll see who wins this match.
I have found, though, from history of following Talon, when he doesn't know his wrestler, he does much better. So hopefully these guys are not familiar with each other, because I think that's advantage Talon. Tries to drag out of that position. Talon, very funky. He's got great hips, doesn't mind going upper body. He's kind of a wild card when you watch him wrestle, so he's very entertaining.
And that's another thing. If you don't
nice dump and gets the 3-point takedown.
If you don't know Talon, he's a big time thrower too. He can throw anybody in the state.
Slips those legs in, like we talked about.
And if you're not familiar with that, it can be a quick wrong step, and there you go.
Yeah, he's definitely a high flyer wrestler, which is fun, but also stressful at the same time.
But I love the fact, again, we saw it with Trey where he was attacking. Talon knows what his job is. He's attacking on the feet. He's taking his shots, trying to work each and every time for a takedown. Right? Nice drag.
See if he can score here. Feet are still in bounds. If he can elevate that ankle, he gets another takedown. Now it's 6-1 for the Raiders. Leg slips out. He's a little high on that leg right. You can hear some of the fans shouting.
It's been twice now. He sneaks that left leg in. It just kind of slips right up over the top, right? So if you're Talon, you start working just like this.
A little bit of a leg turk,
right?
A little bit about Talon. He was third at sections last year, just narrowly missing the state tournament. He's also was 12th at the Bi-States, third at the Board Highlands up in Coon Rapids. See this takedown again, just kind of goes a little slide by, finishes behind, nice finish, gets that early takedown.
And just kind of pops those hips straight up, right? And then brings them down under control. It was very nice.
Second period has Talon Little Soldier starting in the down position. He's pretty tough in all three positions. I would say his best position is probably his feet. It's pretty dangerous from his feet.
And that's what I was about to say. His best position, maybe his most dangerous, is definitely from the feet. But he's also a kid that you could see as he was going up in the air, he's preparing for his next move. His arm is caught here, but watch this. As he comes up, you might watch him try to hit a sit to a switch as you're being brought down. Looks like Jacob is called for stalling there because he didn't bring him back down to the mat. Talon wisely stayed on the feet, got the escape, and got a stall call.
Didn't see the second stall call. Hopefully they tacked that on. I didn't see that. Maybe they called that. Maybe they didn't.
I believe he jumped. He pushed the first stall call. I think that was just the first warning.
Gotcha. I'm losing sight with all the matches we've called so far.
And you look at the bar.
Nice little shuck behind, gets the takedown. That was beautiful from that front headlock position. Now he slips on the leg. See if he can do something with it. Luther trying to roll through. Talon's got good hips, so see if he can slide in a half. He's got back points potentially. He's getting it right now.
Kind of wanted to just stay in that position. Did he get 2 swipes there? Nothing.
He got 1. So again, for our fans that are tuning in, he's got to get 2 swipes from the referee. He's got to expose those shoulders past 90 degrees at least 2 times to get at least a 2-point near fall. Either way, 10-1 lead here in the second period. Raiders want bonus points. They have a major decision right now. They want a tech fall or a pin. A pin would really help the Raiders' cause here.
Yes.
Because we talked about the next couple weights, they should be favored.
Yeah, and you're trying to bank some points before those heavy guys come in. So as you're sitting here, I know Jacob did get the 1 escape, so it is 10-2 here. But Tay kind of just let him up a little bit. Hopefully we get an escape.
Goes to a Russian tie to a trip.
Hopefully we get the takedown here.
Nice job with that Russian tie. Just kind of threw it right back down. Talon trying to lock up a cradle. He's got it locked up if he can bring him straight back. Luther's got a lot of length. He's got short time. See if he can get it. He's getting back points. He should have a 4-point near fall here. Shoulder's pretty far off, though, from getting a pin. But he does get the 4-point near fall. So that should do it, I believe. Yep, that is a tech fall because he got the 3-point takedown and the 4-point near fall. Way to finish that second period. Talon Little Soldier with a tech fall gets us right back in the match. The score gets narrowed to 15-17. Wayzata still in the lead, but here come the Raiders.
Yes, absolutely. And Talon went straight from that Russian tie. He kind of dragged it right down to the mat. Once all 4 limbs were on the mat, right? He had hands on the mat. Jacob did. He had feet on the mat, and Talon just jumped over to the other side, cradled it up. It was a very, very smart move, understanding the position you were in.
All right, the Raiders are going to send out senior Fletcher Peterson, returning state qualifier. And the Wayzata Trojans are going to send out Thomas Williams, a 10th grader who was an 8th grade state qualifier last year. He looks like a pretty physical 10th grader. Fletcher Peterson, a very solid, dependable, gritty kid.
Yeah, who's been on a Hastings mat for a long time that we absolutely love, right? Dropped down. He's been recently down to 145 pounds the last couple of weeks. It's nice to see him in this mat. Now this is kind of a senior duel for me. And
Yeah.
if I'm looking at these matches, we need our seniors to really step up. Fletcher being the first one on the mat.
Yeah, this is a match you absolutely have to have,
Right.
and if you can get bonus points out of it, even better. Fletcher, gritty, tough, and this we're looking for a signature win on the year. Nice slide by attempt. Just didn't have the angle, didn't have the pressure coming forward. This is a match you absolutely got to have.
Yes, you're looking at this match. You have to win this match, and it starts in staying in good position, working your ties.
Good shot attempt.
Into a
Heads
shot.
down, though. See if he can do something with this. Goes upper body. He's going to run him out of bounds. Get an early stall call in favor of Fletcher Peterson. Good wrestling by Fletcher, though, to transition from a shot, upper body, run him out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's savvy wrestling.
And he wasn't so much running out of bounds, but Thomas he didn't want to be in that position. You could obviously see that he was not comfortable there.
No.
He didn't want to be there, so he wanted to get out.
Williams pretty content just trying to stay in inside position, not give up anything. He knows the importance of this match.
Right.
I'm sure coaches gave him instructions that you've got to save team points here.
Yeah, at this point, he's trying to keep things close, right? As close as he possibly can.
You know, and the unfortunate part of this all is that the Wayzata Trojans do have a coach who's from Hastings that knows these wrestlers well.
Yeah, he's coached with us, too.
Yeah, so Jake Johnson's on their bench right now, and he knows these Raider wrestlers well. In fact, before the match, him and I were talking, he said, oh, yeah, they have this kid that I've coached before. So he knows a lot of these wrestlers, their style, and he knows their toughest kids. Oh, nice slide by attempt, goes into a single. Good wrestling by Williams, though, as he doesn't give up an inch here.
Yeah, I wanted Fletcher to stay on that slide by. We had the right angle. We were in the right spot. Don't bail on it so early. Trust yourself and keep wrestling.
All right, so after one period, it's going to be zeros on the board for both guys. Peterson definitely the aggressor in that first period. He's going to defer. It's going to go to Williams' choice. Let's see what he decides to do. It's going to go down. I will say Fletcher's best position is probably the top position.
Yeah, and that's typically in a match, I like to wrestle. Anytime I see a 0-0 match, a lot of times I like to go down, unless that top position is a strong one.
Yeah, Fletcher is pretty tough. Like we talked about, he's gritty, he's tough, and this is probably his favored position. Also, it does give us a little advantage when we defer because you have a choice in the third period to see how the second period goes. So
Right.
even if he gets just a right out, all you need is escape to win.
Correct. I love scoring first. However, when you have a strong wrestler in the top position, you know that chances are that they're going to go down, right? So allow them to make a choice for you almost by allowing you to go on top.
Yeah, a little bit about Thomas Williams, who's 5th at the Eastview tournament, a returning 9th grade state qualifier, 3rd at the Osseo invite. They don't have many common opponents. I did find one from Cottage Grove. But beyond that, there's not a lot of common opponents there. Fletcher, as we mentioned, is a section runner-up. He's looking for that signature win, and by that I mean being a state-ranked wrestler.
Yeah, and he's trying to climb because last year he was that state qualifier. He's looking for that next step up in his career.
Yeah, he's lost to a lot of state-ranked guys, and he's kept it relatively close, including I believe it was Solace last night from Simley, lost 5-0 only. So, I mean, he's right there with some of those guys. It's just a matter of closing it down and really looking for that big win.
Tough ride here. Stops that first move that Thomas had on bottom. Okay, now you're working into your wrist, trying to roll those under. But, man, he's got such a deep waist.
Yeah, I was going to say that deep waist.
You can see that hand all the way from one hip to the other. Holy cow.
That's old school. That's Bob Rudy style.
Right.
As Bob is laughing behind us here. Hastings' first ever state champ is right behind us. The legend of Bob Rudy is behind us, everyone. Hey, for people that are tuning in online, though, if you want to come watch some wrestling, tonight is the night. This is a great triangular match between 3 really tough programs. You can see us up here. Bob Rudy to my left. The legend, you'll see pictures of him in the hallway. A lot of Hastings alumni here tonight, guys.
Give him a wave, Bob. Jeez. Give a little love to the camera next time, right?
I love the camera action there. Around 6:30, we're going to have our alumni night here, and you're going to see probably over 100 Hastings alumni come down to the mat. Hastings, one of the oldest, well-known programs in the state of Minnesota, and they keep that tradition alive each and every year.
Yeah, Coach Handenberg has done a really nice job bringing more and more alumni back. He sends out emails every single week to the Alumni Association just to keep people connected, right?
Good right out there by Fletcher Peterson as we go to the third period. It's going to be Hastings' choice. I'm assuming Fletcher's probably going to go down here. Let's see what they do.
Kind of looks like it. There it is.
All right.
Now, as you're sitting here, you're Fletcher. It's 0-0 going into that third period. You want to get a quick escape, right? You want to score that first point and see what we're at.
In advantage Williams right now, and I say that in the sense of he's keeping this match close.
Right.
I don't necessarily thinking on paper that Wayzata really thought they could win this match. However, 0-0 going to the third period as Fletcher gets the early escape.
There's the escape, and Fletcher was the aggressor in the first period on the feet. He was the one going into his ties. We do have one stall call that is on Williams already in this match. If you're Fletcher, try to push the pace a little bit. See if you can get him out of position.
And I will say this too, as a former wrestler, sometimes you get frustrated when guys don't open up, and you're the aggressor, and guys are just not giving you anything. That can be very demoralizing in terms of your style. And sometimes you are forced to take a bad shot, or you get out of position, and that's where they score. So it's 1-0 with just over a minute left. Fletcher in control here. Maybe this is where Williams starts taking bad shots, and we score as well.
Yeah, but he's only one takedown away from winning this match as well, right? So you're sitting there, Fletcher, you don't want to push too hard. At the same time, there's a shot
attempt by Williams.
He's in deep. And he's trying to elevate, trying to step over that leg as much as he possibly can.
He's okay here though. His hips are up. Fletcher just looking for a stalemate.
And he's working.
They're going to call it. There it is. That was stalemate position for about 15 seconds. They finally call it. So just about 38 seconds left in this match. Williams finally took a shot attempt in this third period. Not a bad shot attempt.
No, that was deep. Just couldn't get that leg hooked in his pop and be able to pop his head out. Fletcher smartly locked up and just waited for that stalemate.
Fletcher has not been called for stalling too, so he can afford to give up a stall call. He's deep on a shot here though. He's got to get those laces down. If he can lock that ankle from the inside, he might be able to score. 20 seconds left. He's on his knees here, which is maybe not the best position to be in.
And I'm not sure if Fletcher's looking to almost roll through or if he's looking for another stalemate call.
You can see Coach Veit in the back getting anxious.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm watching that sprawl there. I'd like him to keep that chest up as much as he possibly can. Work your legs back and battle. It's 1-0.
He's going to give up the stall call. Oh, we got to be careful here. And he runs out of time.
It was close.
That was a close one. But with the 1-0 win, the Raiders claw back into the lead as the dual meet goes from 15-17 now to 18-17 in favor of the Raiders. And now we go to 152 pounds where the Raiders have some choices here.
Right.
They can send out one of two guys. They can send out Mark Sabota or Bennett Brockman. Mark Sabota probably going to get the tougher of the two kids, I'm assuming. That's who they're going to send out.
That's who they're going to send out, yep. And they did have that flexibility. Both wrestlers weighed in at 152 pounds, trying to figure out matchups. That's the chess game inside a duel.
Yeah, this is a match where you absolutely got to get a win here.
Yep.
It looks like they're going to send out Nate Granberg for Wayzata as Sabota in on a single already, dumps him and gets the early takedown. Absolutely aggressive wrestling by Mark Sabota early on.
Yes, and he's another animal, right? What you see on the mat right now is the same thing you see inside the wrestling room. He doesn't have an off switch.
No.
He has
nice another slide by as he goes to that single. To your point, beautiful dump. See if he can drive across. Another takedown by Mark Sabota. A little bit about Sabota. He was second in the Northern Plains in freestyle and Greco. He had a great summer of wrestling, and it's translated to success this year. He was 10th at the Bi-States, second at the Board Highlands. He is a stud.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten back to that state tournament, I believe, since he was in 8th grade. He's working at it right now, kind of looking to see where should he be going into the section time.
Yeah, he's had the unfortunate luck to be in some really tough weight classes in sections. He was third last year in sections, unfortunately. And this year, not only is he hoping to make it to state, but trying to make the podium too. And he's been right there. He's beat some state-ranked kids as well.
He can definitely hang with them, right? And you're looking at Mark, and then 2 years ago, not only did he have a tough bracket last year, lost that 3-2 match in the semis.
Yep.
But then the year before, I knew he was injured. And so he's looking to get back to that tournament and enjoy it.
Yeah, and he's been at the high school level for quite a while. Now as a junior, he's a seasoned vet who's a definite leader on this team. 9-2 lead, though, so far for Sabota.
And it did look like they just gave a stall call to Granberg, just not doing what Ref Kirby likes to do. He wants action. He wants nonstop movement, nonstop action inside of matches.
10 seconds left here. Sabota not afraid to mix it up and go upper body. as he tries to go slide bite again.
He's almost trying to work it from that slide by into that stretcher position, right?
Yes.
Where you kind of slide
Sneak
that
that
arm
leg in.
through, sneak the leg through, and then you kind of bring him straight back right to his back.
Second period, Sabota's going to go down as Wayzata defers. Early 9-3 lead. We missed that last escape call. It'll be interesting to see what the Raiders do at 160 now. They do have Bear Boardman as well, and they could send Bennett Brockman.
Yep, and that's going to be a big thing that Coach Hannaber's looking at, and you can see him between he and Coach Fighter. They're just trying to hash that out right now. What
There's
do
a
we do at this
reversal
point?
there for Mark Sabota. Yeah, one thing, if people know anything about Coach Hannaber, he is very in tune with lineups and
Yes.
knowing how to manipulate things to get the best possible matchups.
He's very analytical. He knows he has so many different plans inside a match.
Tries to go chin whip here. So switches off to a whip over. And this is the Mark Sabota we know. He is a big move wrestler. Kind of goes shock, drives him off the mat.
That was a smart.
Back on their feet.
Really close at the edge of the mat. Just couldn't get that final angle. Granberg just turned in just a little bit too much, but I like that aggressive nature that he had, trying that shuck thrown by and get the takedown right at the edge of the mat.
Oh, it looks like we got a little poke in the eye. Let's see what happened here. Didn't really see it when it happened. I'm assuming he got poked in the eye or head-butted.
I didn't see it either. I saw a quick low shot there, but obviously with Martin not sprawling back, something happened. He kind of grabbed his eye right away.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looked like.
Just based on the reaction, you'd think either got head-butted or poked in the eye. Either way, coach is going to give him a little pep talk. Got plenty of time here in the second period as the score is 11-4. Mark's gotten a couple takedowns so far. He's gotten 3 takedowns and a reversal. Had some success from the feet so far, as we mentioned. Let's see if we can find out what happened here as they came up.
I think that was just a little movement and escape at the end of that. Maybe in the first period or what?
Let's see if we look back at it here.
Oh, there.
Not really sure what happened. Missed it there, but Mark back to that slide by attempt.
And that's what I like. He needs to keep attacking. He's bringing him back there.
See if he can score from his feet down to his back. Does not get the back points, but good finish there by Sabota. He's got that leg lace. See if he can do something with it. He's going to want to turk that other leg if he can. He's always got an arm bar.
Into an arm.
He's on the edge of the mat, though, so he's got to be careful here.
But he can if he kind of rotates him back onto the mat. He is.
Jumps to the other side with a half. He's just got to be careful with the space here. And they run out of bounds. So that's exactly when you run that arm bar, that body forced out.
Right. Watch again, right to a slide by.
Oh, that's the position. You can see it. You kind of hit him right in the head. Doesn't feel very good.
No, absolutely not.
All right, 14-4 in favor of Sabota. 38 seconds left in the second period. He's controlled it from start to finish here so far.
I really like that arm bar at the end of that, right at the edge of the mat there. It looked like it was going to work. We'll see if he goes back to it here.
Yeah, and as we kind of progress to the next couple weights, this will be a really interesting thing to see how we match up.
And he's got the arm bar. He's got the arm bar half almost. If he can just reach across.
Oh, he's got big steps. See if he can get this pin. He's got about 12 seconds to operate.
Can he lower those hips just a little bit?
Can he get it? Short time. Trying to flatten that shoulder down with just his body weight alone. He's awfully close.
That was close.
Gonna run out of time. All right, 4-point near fall for the Raiders. So close to getting that pin.
And you could see, you mentioned it, he's trying to push that down with all of his body weight. He needs to keep his hips low, which he absolutely did. Granberg just did an awesome job by keeping that left shoulder up.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit in the weight classes. Not that I want to look too far ahead, but at 160 and 172, you'd hope that Hunter Hoff's going to be favored at 172.
Yep.
160, kind of a toss-up. Not really sure. I would say probably advantage Wayzata there. 189, Wayzata's probably going to be favored. 215, you would hope that we would be favored. That's going to be another tough match.
Yeah.
So I would say that we're probably going to be favored at 172, and that's about it at this point. Other ones are kind of toss-ups.
Yeah, we'll see what happens at 160 pounds. Who is Hastings going to throw out there?
Yeah, and they have a kid in Julio Gonzalez who's a senior who's wrestled really, really well. We have a senior and a junior, both of whom have some varsity experience. Hunter Hoff's probably our best chance for a victory at 172. He's been wrestling really, really well. He's at 172. 189, they're pretty tough there with Cale Limbeck. we might be sending out Adrian Fuks or Lucas Pellinger, both of whom probably aren't going to be favored on paper.
Right, and you look at Lucas. Lucas is we're talking to him at 189 pounds. He wrestles or weighs in at 175 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's been wrestling 189, 215 throughout this year.
Yeah.
So you're giving up quite a bit of weight, but
so really
again,
you're circling 172 and 215 as the weights that you gotta have.
Right.
Gotta have.
Especially,
and then if you can flip 160 or 189 to your advantage, one of those, that's huge for the Raiders. Heavyweight, they're going to be favored.
yes,
They're absolutely going to be favored.
Yep.
They're young. They have a stud returning state qualifier. So you got to get bonus points at this match. You got to win at 172. You got to win at 215. Those are the big weights that, on paper, are the ones that are going to really dictate this duel.
And I'm kind of looking at, when you look at the duel on paper, again, you kind of mentioned it already, 189, they have an absolute stud as well, right? So we're trying to save team points there. 285, you mentioned, that's looking for a pin for Wayzata. So you can't go into that last match less than 6 points.
No.
Right? Because then that's advantage to Wayzata. That's kind of the duel at that point.
Yeah, and fortunately for us, Wayzata is without their state-ranked 215-pounder,
Yep.
Aiden Fartasek, because if they had him, it'd be a different story. Nice reversal at the end there. Great wrestling.
And he just couldn't keep that head down.
He's going to get the tack fall for the Raiders. So that's big 5 team points for the Raiders. That'll take the lead from 18 to 17 to 23 to 17 as we enter 160 pounds.
Looks like the Raiders are going to be sending out Barrett Boardman here.
All right, so Barrett Boardman's going to take the mat. The junior, the stud linebacker for our football team. I
Yeah.
believe he was one of the leading tacklers this year. He's
Yeah.
going to take the mat against Julio Gonzalez.
Yeah, 2-year varsity football player, right?
Yep.
He was a stud linebacker. He wrestled at the beginning of the
Nice
year.
shot there by Barrett Boardman. See if he can dump and finish this here. He drives across. Good start there for Barrett Borman. He's going to come back up to his feet and cuts Gonzalez.
And I was mentioning Barrett's wrestled up in the past earlier in the season. He was kind of wrestling at those bigger weights. Now he's dropped down to 160 pounds. I like the quickness in that shot. He can be a kid that shows flashes at times.
Yeah.
And I love that flash.
Yes.
There's
Another good shot attempt. See if he can come up out of this, though. He's got to kick out of there. Gonzalez deep on a shot now. Boardman's got to keep his legs back. And he gets the finish now. Now 4-3 in favor of Gonzalez. There's one position we maybe struggle with. It's in that down position for Boardman. So this is where we got to really see some improvement.
Yeah. Let's see what he does. And as a coach, you're sitting there trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do in that second, third period with your decision? This is a big time. This last minute kind of tells you what you want to do.
Gonzalez riding that deep waist. He's got to roll through in this tilt. He's got to keep that shoulder up off the mat.
He's trying to battle those hands while trying to keep his head balanced and shoulders off the mat.
He can break that grip. He's going to be okay, but he's still got that grip locked up pretty tight. He's going to get the 4-point near fall. I don't think we want to go down against this kid.
I don't think so either. Gonzalez is just controlling those wrists as much as he possibly can. We can't roll him out, can't battle it down. With 20 seconds left right now, I'd love for an escape, but I don't want to turn.
He's trying to roll through again. He's got that wrist trapped. 15 seconds to operate. He's going to get another 4-point near fall.
10 seconds left.
And he breaks that grip again, so now it sends the lead to 8-3. Julio Gonzalez has wrestled a lot of JV kids. You think he's undefeated on JV. He also took third at the Eastview varsity tournament. So the limited amount of experience he does have in varsity, he's done quite well. Here's the takedown Gonzalez has. He drives across with that double leg and finishes. Wayzata's choice. He's going to go down here.
Actually,
he's going to go top.
Yep. One coach pointed down, the other one pointed top. They feel strong with those tilts with a 12-3 lead.
And they should. I mean, they had some success there in about a minute of riding time. They've turned him a couple times.
Yep.
Bears up to his hips. Now he gets flattened back down again.
It was good movement.
Back to that tilt. See if Bear can fight through.
He's just controlling that wrist on that quick tilt. There's another 4. You can see the ref do it.
You see Gonzalez showing that he broke that grip again. 16-3 in favor of Gonzalez.
Just can't get turned
He's got
here.
that tilt one more time. Now we got to stop and not give up back. We can't get pinned here. He's got a technical fall right there, and that'll end the match. All right, so that'll be 5 team points for Wayzata as the match gets narrowly close here at 23-22. It is razor thin here as we start going to 172. This is a must-have match for the Raiders.
Yeah, and this is that second, like I mentioned, it was kind of like I was looking at the seniors to lead by example here, and here's Hunter Hoff, a second senior coming out.
Yeah.
Right now, he's got to get big points for the Raiders.
Yeah, and he's been wrestling his best wrestling of his career right now. And
Yes.
he's got to show it. He was third in sections last year, but he didn't have a winning record. This year has a winning record and has steadily improved.
And
He's going to take on Parker Glade, who was second at the JV conference, has about a 500 record. Nice finish there by Hunter Hoff and gets an early takedown. That sets the tone for the match right away.
Yes, and then one thing that I really like about Hunter is he's gotten a very, very mature on the mat. In the past, he's made some funky moves. He's got a bar right here. He's sticking to basics, which I absolutely love. I'd love him to reach across, bait him from a half right to that wrist.
He's got time to operate, too. If he can big steps over the top, he's got that locked up tight. If he can just keep driving. Hoff's got that locked up tight. If he can flatten out that shoulder, this pin would be big for the Raiders.
Keep those hips down.
He's got over a minute to operate and flatten that shoulder out. And he gets the pin for the Raiders. Hunter Hoff with a huge pin for the Raiders, taking the match from 29-22.
And like I said, we need it.
With 3 weights to go.
We need those seniors to step up. That's a huge, big win for the Raiders. Hunter Hoff, again, you mentioned he's on a tear, right? He's really, really improving, but he's gotten back to basics, gotten back to good technique, and he shows it right
and
there.
And that early takedown, he would have never taken that shot last year.
Yeah, the left-handed high C.
That's
with
great
a great
wrestling.
Finish.
Awesome job by Hunter Hoff. Couldn't ask for a better kid, too. He's such a quality kid, a good student, hard worker. That'll take us to 189 pounds, where the Raiders are going to send out 9th grader Adrian Fuks. He's young, but he's talented. He's super talented. He was on the Heartland Duels Team Minnesota team. Fun fact, guess who his coach was for Team Minnesota last year?
Oh, who was it?
Jake Johnson.
Was it really?
So Jake was actually saying, hey, is Adrian going to wrestle tonight?
Yeah.
He coached him all summer. So he's definitely had a great summer of wrestling. He's battled tough kids. Not afraid to back down from anybody.
Absolutely.
He was my practice partner a lot last year.
And when you look at him, and you mentioned it in the practice room, something that he does is he'll sit there and he just wants more, right? He wants to learn. He's such a coachable kid. Something happens in the practice. He was your practice partner. I wrestled with him for a while, and he all of a sudden you do something. And you're just kind of playing around. You roll something, and he asks.
He wants to know why.
Yeah.
Yep.
What just happened there? What did I do? What caused that?
Yeah.
He wants to be a true student of the sport, which is awesome. But he wants to be better.
Yeah, and he's taking on the junior Cale Limbeck, who was 8th at the Christmas tournament, 3rd at the Ken Drogemiller and Ethan Herman invites. So no slouch. This kid's a stud.
No, and you're looking at this match. If a 9th grader can keep this nice and close, maybe give yourself a shot.
Wants to go upper body. You got to be careful here.
Adrian's
It's a dangerous position to be in. Uh-oh, don't want to get too tight. Oh, hips in a little tight. He got launched. Limbeck's got some time to operate, too. Got about 35 seconds to try to get his shoulders down. Adrian fighting his shoulder back, though. Well done by the young 9th grader. Gives up the 4-point takedown and the 4-point near fall, or 3-point takedown, 4-point near fall, excuse me. So that'll be 7-0 for Limbeck.
And that originally going into that body lock, I actually liked Adrian going into it because he had the lower hips, he had the tighter lock, but then all of a sudden his hips went away, right? He lost his hips, and Limbeck's hips kind of went in, and that's where the throw in.
Didn't really want to commit to it,
No.
and I get it. You wrestle in a physical junior.
Yep.
You're a little leery to do it, but once you're in that position, you got to go all in.
Yes, it's all in. And
Let's
you
see it
can
one
see
more
it right
time.
here. He had that lock in the right spot, but then all of a sudden his hips went out.
And once
And
he
he got
stepped
thrown.
through, that's
Yep.
where he gave up that takedown. Either way, foot off his back, 7-0 lead for Limbeck, second period. Wayzata's choice here. They're going to go down.
And you can see in that, you look at that match, right? You look at this match, just how much he has grown. I mean, that's still a 9th grader. Adrian's a 9th grader, right? How he's grown physically into his body. He's a strong kid, just learning as he's wrestling.
Yep. Watch for
the
the roll.
Peterson.
You can see Limbeck beating him, trying to create angles. His head's on the mat. Anytime the head's on the mat like that and he starts turning, you know something bad is going to happen. Limbeck looking for that switch position.
It can
Little re-switch.
Re-switch, trying to keep that Try to keep that leg back at
He
the
can
same
switch to a
time.
crossface too with that left hand. It'll really help his cause. Instead of coming across that, he's got to come across that, not around it.
Yep.
Oh, now the hips are tight. Got to be careful here. Bail out.
He tried to
He's going to give up the reversal here.
Yeah, he tried to sneak that elbow in a little bit tight. I think we kind of got lucky there that he couldn't get it all the way in because Limbeck was going to be bringing him to his back because that arm would have been.
And if Limbeck would have switched off
tight.
that half Nelson right there, he had it.
Right.
Either way, 9-0 lead for Limbeck with just under a minute left in the second period. They're going to call for stalling as Adrian kind of bellies out here. He's up to his feet now. I will say, though, Adrian has had a couple of times where he could have scored, just didn't go for it.
And that's the big difference of a takedown to your back now this year. A 3-point takedown, 4-point near fall. That went from 5 points last year, or a couple of years ago, to a 7-point match now.
Yeah, it's a good point. You make a mistake in this match, you're already at basically a major decision.
Absolutely.
9-0 now. He's got to let go of his head. He's got to be careful.
Yep. You want to, again,
Bail out again.
you want to bring that hand on the other side of his face, right?
Yeah, and that's one of those things you may have gotten away with when you wrestle maybe younger guys or guys that are your age, but against physicals, juniors, and seniors, you're not going to get away with that. 15 seconds left. Limbeck riding tough. He's going to try to hit a roll here. He's got it if he can suck in that wrist. He just poke his head through. He might even, be careful here.
Now he's got to try to come up through the middle.
All right, it is the Raiders' choice in the third period. I'm assuming they're probably going to go down.
Yep, and they're all pointing down. Now you're looking at this match. Adrian is down 9-0. Right now is the time if we're going to try to bring this back to a decision. All right, because then, in all honesty, it comes down to that 215-pound match that you were already looking at.
Yeah, and it really does. You circle that one. But if you can keep this to even a major decision, advantage Hastings.
Yes.
You feel good about it. Even, I mean, I know you're not happy about that, but you save points.
You do save points, absolutely. It gives yourself a shot. And again, we want to be 6 points or more, ahead 6 points or more going into that last match.
Can't reach back here. All right, we got a quick shout out to Nate Little Soldier, who's watching in Mexico, watching his boy get a big win tonight.
Yeah, getting all the Rays sitting on the beach.
We're not jealous. Don't worry about it, Nate.
Absolutely not. I'm just picturing that umbrella drink you got in your hand, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Got to give shouts out. We love the viewership no matter where you are. Hope we have a lot of Wayzata fans tuning in tonight. Hey, just a reminder for our fans, the Wayzata Prior Lake Duel will happen right after this one. We have our alumni night at 6:30, and then we're going to finish up with the Prior Lake Hastings Duel as the finale, which is kind of a special one because it is Don Miller alumni night. And a cool story, I don't know if you know this, Mitch, but Don Miller's grandson's going to be wrestling for Prior Lake tonight.
Oh, is that right? I
Rocco
did not know.
Nikolajczyk.
Really?
Yep, the state
That's
ranked
interesting.
107 pounder.
Did not know.
Don Miller's grandson. So kind of a cool story. The 20-year coach, the varsity coach for the Raiders, who they're going to be honoring a little bit tonight. His grandson's going to be wrestling that dual meet. So pretty cool story.
Absolutely. Now you're sitting there, you're Adrian. Adrian's in that bar. He's got to fight that bar down. He cannot
get him off his
turned.
wrist. Yeah, you got to really fight this. He's got 35 seconds to not give up any more. You can hear Swenson talking about getting that out. It's not real straight across the back.
Now we got to be careful here. There's a chicken wing.
They're going to call potentially dangerous as they come up to their feet.
Yeah, and the other thing is that hand just slid up to his shoulder, right? Now, if you're Adrian, gosh, if you can get one quick switch, right? Bring that major decision down to a regular decision, that'd be huge. Trying to get away. 20 seconds left. We'll see what you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect for this Wayzata program.
This is the position that I'm talking about.
Oh, can he get this reversal? That would break the major. He can get it.
Free his wrist.
See if he can get it.
Wrist.
Oh, can he get the reversal? He can just step behind. Oh, just get the reversal.
Let's go behind. Spin.
He's going to get the one, but that'll still get the major decision for Wayzata. But good wrestling there by the young Adrian Fuks, the freshman.
Yes.
Losing 9-1, which, again, does save team points. I know fans were screaming for that reversal at the end, but that really does help our cause.
And you're wrestling a kid that has wrestled in the Christmas tournament, right? Took 8th at the Christmas tournament. Really solid wrestler who's been around. I didn't mind that match at all.
Yep. All right, they'll take us to 215 pounds, where the Raiders are going to send out 10th grader Elijah Christopher. He's going to take on Kamarian Prow, from Wayzata. Two athletic football players going at it. Prow, a recent signee of UW River Falls. He's kind of a defensive tackle for their football team, weighing in around 225 pounds. Christopher, very athletic, very dangerous wrestler. He loves big positions. Oh, Prowl tries to go upper body.
Elijah smartly just kind of felt that he wanted the big throw. He kept his hips back, dropped him down to the mat. He got the 3 points for the quick takedown.
Good trip. Yeah, and I will tell you, Christopher definitely has good hips.
Yes, absolutely. And you sit there, these are two completely different body styles, but these are two athletes.
Yes.
Right?
So the Raiders, sorry to interrupt you, Coach. The Raiders do need a major decision. A major decision will clinch the duel for them.
Yep.
So that's the key in this match. Early 3-0 lead's great. It's now 3-1. But again, you need a bonus point victory in this one.
And that's when you're starting to look at that match right before that. If you could get that last switch so close, you would just need a win in this position.
Now, a little bit about the Raiders this year. They are out about 4 or 5 starters in this dual meet between Will Bainbridge, Jack Bainbridge. Those are 2 hammers.
Yes,
state-ranked kids.
And those are tough. And then you have a couple of kids just coming back from injury. Talon wrestling phenomenal.
Yeah, you're missing your starting 121-pounder, Rocco Alenardo. You're missing a couple other guys that might be chess pieces as well. So, I mean, you don't want to make excuses, but my point is the fact that they're piecing together a lineup like this and still finding a way to potentially win this dual meet is pretty impressive.
Yes. Yep, shows the depth of the squad, right?
Yeah. All right, calling a stalemate. No guy really improving positions here. Should be a 3-1 match. Prowl did get the escape. Now, decisions will be interesting on this one after the first period. You saw Prowl likes to kind of go upper body. We know Elijah likes those positions as well.
Yeah, he doesn't mind them. He's not going to be afraid of a challenge, right?
Christopher's also pretty good in that bottom position, though. But do you risk it knowing that all you need is a win here?
If you do, in my experience, if I'm Coach Hannenberg, if we're going to go down, we want to go down in that second period.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, it is Red's choice to see what Wayzata does. They might defer. Yeah, they defer. See what Hastings does here. They're going to go down. All right, Christopher is pretty good in this position. Extremely quick, good hips. The biggest thing for Elijah is sometimes he loses sight of what is going on in the match and he makes careless mistakes.
Yeah.
When he can wrestle a complete match up to his feet right away,
but
good
again,
things
he's
happen.
in that.
Prowl's going to go upper body with him. He gets the early escape.
As he tries to push back, that's what I really like. He didn't just back out. He tried to push back at the edge of the mat, but he did it while keeping his hips away. That was very smart, savvy wrestling.
So 4-1 in favor of Christopher. Early in the second period, got an escape in about 5 seconds. If you're Prowl, you don't really have to do anything here. Obviously, you'd love to win this match, but even a close match helps Wayzata. If you're Hastings, you need this takedown. You need to go into that third period with a 7-1 lead at least.
It'd be great if you could, right? We got a minute 20 to work. I'm not sure what it looks like as far as, because if Raiders, let's look ahead here. If the Raiders do win by decision, okay, that puts the match at 32-26. Then if we Wayzata has an absolute stud at heavyweight, let's say he pins and it's 32-32. Comes down to criteria. Who's got the most pins is first. There's the big throw.
Oh!
Big
feeder on the mat. Feeder on the mat, too. This is dangerous. He's going to get the takedown, and let's see if we can get another shot of that throw. That was a thing of beauty.
Wow.
Let's watch this again.
His hips just kind of drop underneath.
Pushes into him. Hips are in.
Boom.
Hip toss. Boom. Right there. Toes on the mat. That was awesome.
Just kind of came out of nowhere, right?
That was a slow motion hip toss.
Pushing in, and it just boom, just pure power from those hips.
11-1 lead here for Elijah Christopher.
And there's that, like you mentioned, it is 11-1. We do have right now. We're up by 10. That's the major decision, which is what the Raiders really wanted.
Now I'm curious to see. Again, there's a lot of time left in the second period. Where does Wayzata go in this third period? Do they go down and try to save team points, or they go back to their feet and try to risk it?
In all honesty, I think you have to. It kind of looked like you want to go back on the feet.
Well, he's going to go roll through with his tilt. I don't love that. It just makes me nervous, especially when you have a 10-point lead. You don't need anything big. You just got to control the match.
Just be smart and technical. And right now, I kind of want him to get his hips side to side. Don't get dinged for stalling.
Yeah, and I will say one thing about Elijah is he's been a really good closer this year. He's had, I believe, 3 or 4 matches where he's had to close down the match, get a pin to win, or a win to ice the duel, and he's done it.
Yeah, he's done an awesome job kind of holding down that last one.
Hey, big shout out to Christian Waggy, the Raiders' #1 fan, our hype guy here at Hastings High School. He's tuning in as well tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm guessing he threw out a text message, and I think I saw it with a bunch of exclamation marks. I can just hear him screaming from his couch.
Yeah, the science teacher, huge wrestling fan, soccer coach and wrestling fan. He loves his wrestling. All right, third period. They're back on their feet. Prowl does go on his feet, like you predicted. Elijah doesn't have to do anything here. He can just wrestle smart. That's all he has to do.
Stay in good position. Stay in good position here.
Yeah, again, you don't have to do anything. You got a 10-point lead. You got a major decision locked up. I'm sure the coaches are telling him, listen, stay in good position, circle, stay out of the throws.
Yep, and you can see that Wayzata, he wants to go right into an underhook. He wants to get into a body lock. You can see just that one little step in, and Elijah kind of stepped away a little bit more, keeping his hips back, and then he retreated.
Yeah, and we talked about early on in this dual meet how this dual meet was going to be close, regardless of how you shake it out. Nice shot attempt. See if he can come up with it.
This is a big takedown here. Did he scissors the head?
He did. It's going to be a point for the Raiders. Coach Heeman, explain that for the fans, why he got the scissors on this.
You can see right here when he scissors that head, it brings both legs together, and the ref stops that move because that's a dangerous move. It's an illegal move where you can't scissor the head.
Yeah, it's a potential choking hazard, I guess you'd say, in a situation where you could injure the wrestler that's in that shot position.
Well, and you sit there and you got 2 ankles right in your face, covering your eyes, and it's not good.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that Wayzata program. Coach Eric Swenson's done a wonderful job with Wayzata. Year in and year out, they field top-notch wrestlers, and they do it the right way. They have a really tough kids program every single year. And I remember when Wayzata made the state tournament a few years back, there was a really cool quote by Eric Swenson. He said, "We're trying to teach blue-collar values to white-collar kids."
Yeah.
And I think that really is kind of the telling of that Wayzata program.
Yeah, and they, like you mentioned, they develop through their youth program. They've got a very robust youth program, something that our youth program might be able to see at the Brawl this weekend on Sunday. We're in the same bracket with them, maybe meeting the semifinals of a pool.
And, Wayzata, kind of a hockey school, kind of a basketball school, not necessarily known as a wrestling school, but I think Coach Swenson's changed that tune a little bit. Well, they're a perennial top 10 program.
And they've always had solid, a few star-studded kids, right? They've had a lot of state place winners. Here's a double.
See, drive across.
Finish.
See if you can get this takedown.
Now, if you can get this takedown, it almost locks it up there.
15-1 now in favor of the Raiders as we're trying to change the score here.
Yep.
Should be 15-1. You don't need a turn. Left. You don't need anything. You just ride them out here. Hips got to be up.
There you go. And if you're Elijah, try to keep that pressure. Try to keep his hands and knees on the mat as much as he possibly can. If you can get him down to his belly.
So get near fall. Oh, baby. They're going to give him the 2-point near fall and gets the tech fall. That's big team points as Elijah Christopher ices the duel for the Raiders, taking the match to 34-26. Another big win for Elijah Christopher. Seals the deal for the Raiders. Let's see it one more time.
Here's this big throw here. Watch him get those hips back. Slow-mo throw, but
that was
feet
fantastic.
To back, that was beautiful.
And you could just hear when Prowl hit the mat, the shaking.
I'm not going to lie. At the very end where he got that quick turn for a quick 2 count, I was a little nervous because our hand was back. Didn't really realize that we were getting the tech.
All right, Finley Olsson's going to take the mat against Briggs Opp, returning state qualifier for Wayzata. Opp's a junior, Olsson only a freshman. Olsson's going to be tough.
Yes.
He's a young freshman. He's a big, strong kid, but he's going against a physical Opp who is tough, man. He's not ranked in the state, but he's pinned the likes of Olsson from Stillwater. He was 12th at the Christmas tournament. He's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And Finley, he was wrestling in our wrestling room last year.
Yeah.
So you're going from a middle school mat to a high school mat. Your wrestling went from boys to men, right? He's wrestling in a 275-pound 8th grader is a lot different than a 275-pound senior.
Yeah, and the Olsson name might be familiar. His brother Cameron was a wrestler for the Raiders, state qualifier, narrowly just missed placing at state. Finley much bigger than his brother Cameron as only a 9th grader. He's all of 270 pounds here. as a 9th grader.
Yeah, but if he can just fill out those shoulders like Cameron did, we're sitting in a good spot.
Absolutely. And one cool thing about Finley is he wasn't that great of a wrestler when he was in 5th and 6th grade.
No, he just kept working.
He just kept working. And we had him in the middle school room. He was a kid that just always was there, always showed up, always worked hard, did the summer work, and got better and better.
Going into youth practices, they have Big Man Tuesday. They get together and they show different techniques with the
Bob's got a cradle locked up
kind
here.
of inexperienced big guys that they have inside that room. It's awesome to see that the coaches are doing.
Pretty impressive, though, that the Raiders have a 189 pounder and a heavyweight that are both 9th graders starting on the varsity.
Right.
And he gets the pin for Wayzata here. Sorry, run out of punt. My bad.
Period.
Run out of the first period. Does get the 4-point near fall. Raiders are going to defer here. Let's see what Opt decides to do. Yeah, we talked about it. It's pretty rare you have 2 freshmen starting in your varsity lineup as 9th graders at those weight classes.
Not only, yes, I was about to say freshmen starting, but freshmen starting at very upperclassmen weights.
Yeah, and again, you take your lumps this year. Oh, he's got that locked up tight. He's going to try to lock this up and throw it. Wisely just bails out.
Smart.
You take your lumps this year, as a 9th grader, and it'll pay dividends for you down the road.
Yep.
He's got that cradle locked up. See if he can get to it. Op's got it locked up. Olsson's got to try to break that grip.
Trying to attack, just don't give up here, and that's not something Finley likes to do. He's trying to pick at that lock and kick as much as he possibly can.
And he gets the pin for the Trojans, but that'll take the final dual meet score to 34-32 in favor of the Raiders. The Raiders getting huge pins from Hunter Hoff, Trey Bisel, and then also getting key tech falls from other wrestlers, Mark Sabota, Taylor Little Soldier as well, right?
There you go, absolutely.
And then the biggest match was obviously Elijah Christopher,
Yes.
right? And that one was the seal that finally iced that dual meet. But a good match between 2 top 15 programs. The Raiders find a way to get the victory, even depleted with a bunch of injuries. Great job by these young Raiders.
Yeah, it was awesome. Try to hold the Trojans off down low, make your hay down right in the middle, and then again, just try to slam that door before Briggs hits the mat.
All right, we're going to be back at you in just a little bit for the second round of wrestling. The Prior Lake Lakers are going to take on your Wayzata Trojans. We're going to give a shout out to Hunter Pinky, the producer and director, the graphics and replay guy as well. I'm Kyle Kreiser, as always, joined by Mitch Sheeman. Our camera operators are Tori Sellner, Max Slocum, and Ben Brandon. We'll be back at you in about 20 minutes for the second round of wrestling.
made the varsity team for freshman year of college, and my action team was freshman year. The sophomore year, he was in second place, and my afternoon, losing more time in the finals. His junior year, he won my afternoon again. At the time, he was career did not have a national tournament. I met the love of his life before his senior year, and we were also preparing for his major after class. God was going to get these things from 1968 to 1986. We also taught about the Hastings. Between my own pieces, we were taught individual state champions. He was well loved by all professors and still is today. He probably still hears his whistle in the back of the mountain. Don became the athletic director in 1986 and did a graduate class for all sports competitions. During his tenure at Hastings, they won 3 state titles. Don also received the honors of Region Coach of the Year once. President won a Teacher of the Year in Hastings, Region 3 AA Athletic Director of the Year, State Athletic Director of the Year, and also inducted in the Minnesota Athletic Administrators Hall of Fame. Don retired in 2000, and Don Bobby moved to Northern Minnesota with the athletic and Serene Warriors and spent time with nine grandchildren. Don in this case still follows Hastings wrestling with a little bit of Prior Lake as well, and has gained grandchildren wrestling. Don was not able to make it to the next match, but says hello to everybody. So when you're ready to step forward and a little wait. First, like always, is Bob Rudy, 1965. Pointy, 1967. Gary Chandler, 1969. Charlie Reholt, 1969. Greg Statement, 1971. Gary Wallstrom, 1975. Ken Rising, 1975. Rick Zion, 1976. Tom Zajac, 1975. Dave Wallstrom, 1976. Scott Weber, 1978. Gary Vicey, 1979. Joey Reagan Anderson, 1979. Tim Weber, 1981. Bruce Logan, 1981. Brent Logan, 1981. Chris Glade, 1983. Ryan Shulman, 1985. Lee Peterson, 1986. Mark Nassif, 1986. Michael Bauer, 1989. Bob Hartman, 1989. Chad Leachman, 1990. Chris Miller, 1990. Chris Wood, 1991. Greg Weisel, 1994. PJ Westman, 1996. Nate Ward, 1997. Jason Newhern, 1997. Lance Butler, 2002. Luke King, 2004. Mitch Sheehan, 2007. Ray Ostertag, 2007. Mitch Peterson, Glenn Peterson, 2004. Aaron Ostertag, 2007. Lee Trojans, 2008. Luke White, 2008. Alex Simon, 2008. Josh Lovey, 2011. Isaac Edmond, 2012. Jake Johnson, 2014. Tony Leatherback, 2014. Luke Ryle, 2014. Vinny Meyer, 2015. Jason Long, 2015. 2015. Wayzata, 2017. Sabota, 2018. Jesse Limbeck, 2019. Paul Devil, 2019. Luke Chamberlain, 2019. John Kendall, 2020. Devin Torrey, 2020. Lamar Thomas, 2019. Jerad, 2020. Troy Year, 2020. Lee Hansen, 2020. Tim Rose, 2021. Sam O'Connor, 2021. Coach Lisa Brown, 2022. Evan Sabota, 2022. Xavier Adams, 2022. Adrian Becker, 2023. Rico Cooper, 2023. Ian Pemble, 2025. Peterson, 2024. All right, let's get one more hand for alumni, and then alumni, let's head back to the stage behind the
All right, welcome back to the round 2 triangular match of the evening. We got the Prior Lake Lakers as the home team taking on the Wayzata Trojans. We got a battle of 2 top 15 programs going again with not having any bias on either team. That's what we see in the first 2 weights here. All right, we saw Schutz in the opening match of the night. It looked really tough.
Yeah, he got it going right away on the feet. Had that single, like we saw that last match.
Shoots in on a shot as he switches off to a double here, trying to drive across. Isaac got a lot of length on him.
Trying to lock up those hands as much as possible, try to work for a stalemate. And if you're sitting here, if you're Peter, you're trying to cover those hips as much as possible. Maybe walk. Yes, I like it. Walking back towards the head.
He gets the takedown.
There's
here.
the 3. And now he's controlling. He controls the hips. Now work up the body.
Shoots a physical 107-pounder. He looks all 107. He's wrestled some at 114 as well. Isaac kind of goes side roll on this, trying to create some space.
Yeah, just trap that arm for a quick second. Now I want to go back to that shot that Schutz had. Okay, did you see that left-handed high C? That it's not as natural for many wrestlers, right? So it's different for Rocco to see a left-handed shot to that near leg. I really like when wrestlers know that opposite side that you don't see as much.
Yeah, Schutz did not place at the Christmas tournament this year, whereas Isaac took 5th at the Christmas tournament. But you can see that Schutz is peaking at the right time. I wrote a little note. He's getting better and better every single time he gets on the mat. You can see it. He teched Chase Lawrence from Stillwater, to give you an idea.
And Chase has been in and out of that top 10 rankings, and he's wrestled him twice, I believe, throughout the year.
Lost to him the first time,
Yep.
and then teched him the second.
And that tells you how much he learned from that first duel.
Yeah, Mikkel Isaac, been around the mat for a long time. He was kind of behind Liam Collins last year. Collins, obviously the state champ at 107. Mikkel Isaac was forced to go up to 114 last year. Now at his true weight, he was second at the Rogers Holiday Tournament, fifth at the sections last year at 114. He's a tough kid.
Yeah.
And the grandson of former Hastings coach Don Miller.
And it's Don Miller Alumni Night. So you got in the background, you guys can't see it, but I can see all the alumni wrestlers with the current varsity wrestlers. They're taking a nice big picture. Make sure they look good.
I did learn something too.
What's that?
Again, I know I'm a random factoid guy. Rocco's mom, Carrie, I believe, is really good friends with our AD's wife.
Wow, you can make a connection.
I can make good connections, right?
Jeez.
I know. So Trent Hansen making sure I put a little nugget in there for that. But a really cool Hastings connection here. I love seeing that there's a lineage of wrestling here in Hastings. And you saw it for people that stuck around here. There was around 100 alumni here. As we go in the second period, though, Peter Schutz has a 3-0 match. Mikkel Isaac almost close to getting an escape in that first period, but was unsuccessful.
Yeah, and you look at Rocco, and he's such a long 107-pounder. A lot of times you see guys more like Peter Schutz build, where they're kind of short, stocky, compact, ready to wrestle, or not ready to wrestle, but lower, shorter, right? And then you have Rocco kind of the exact opposite, long and lengthy, which is a different task to wrestle.
All right, Mikkel Isaac chooses down in the second period. Tries to go side roll. Ooh, almost gets that Granby. Tries to hop over the top. Got that length where he's just trying to create some space. Almost hit it twice now.
Yeah.
Ooh, and he's got a chin drop. See if he can get some back points here. He's awfully close.
Just can't thread that back arm through and keep the shoulders down.
Yeah, definitely contrast in style. Mikkel Isaac really wants to be funky, do the rolls, the switches, use his leverage to his advantage, versus Schutz, who wants to be compact and grind, really get on, control the hips. Now we got a nice wide base stand up here, trying to hop over the top. Mikkel Isaac has that leg trapped,
He's trying to can he get both hands underneath that leg and elevate? Is kind of what he's working at.
Trying to hop over the top. He does have that leg elevated. If he can scoot,
there it is.
Close to a reversal. He's at the worst going to get a 1. And he gets a reversal. Good savvy wrestling by Rocco there.
That was really, really smart at the edge of the mat. Instead of going to the body, you just cover both of those ankles, and that's what gets the reversal. Once you have control of both those ankles from the bottom position, switching into that top position, you get the reversal.
Yeah, that was really smart wrestling to cover both those feet to get that reversal. That's savvy wrestling. A kid that's been around the wrestling room for a while, you can tell.
Yeah, now I'm
He
watching.
snakes that leg in. You can see the length of Mikkel Isaac really causing a problem. Ooh, he's close to a spladle position here if he can get that leg scooped in.
He just lost the leg at the
Yeah,
end.
he lost that grip, though. He's trying to hop over. He's getting shoots all sorts of extended, though. So tough on that length.
Yes, and it was really, really funky. At that point, I was looking at Schutz, and it looked like he was just about to get out, but then somehow Rocco was able to kind of work his hips back on top. I'm not sure how he did it, but it was absolutely beautiful how he worked those hips back on top and continued to control in the top
Boy, based
position.
on what I'm seeing Mikkel Isaac do on top, I don't know if Wayzata is going to go down in this third period. They might go back to their feet.
You know, and you're looking at Rocco with those long arms. He's working for a cradle.
He's got a cradle
like
here.
He's
Got a short time if he can get it.
He does get
He's got
it.
a one count only, though, so they're not going to give him near fall. Man, was he close. All right, so it is Wayzata's choice going in this third period. He's going to go back neutral just to our prediction here.
Now, again, he hit that left-handed high C. We'll see if Rocco tries to kind of control those wrists into his own tie. You can see.
Shot attempt from space, but straight single. That's pretty easy to defend, though. Oh, he kind of gets him on his hip, tries to cover here, and goes to his back. He's going to get the three-point takedown and near fall.
He's got to cover that head as much as he possibly can. If I'm Schutz, I'm attacking the head.
He's going to get a 4-point near fall on top of it all.
But Rocco's trying to get that roll. He's got his elbow.
Man, that was slick, though. Just control those hips, kind of threw him over there with a quick hip toss.
Yeah, and he stayed in the right position. It kind of looked like Rocco was out of position. He kind of slipped a little bit, and Schutz just kind of took advantage of it.
Yeah, and one thing too, like when you take that straight on single leg, you kind of expose your shoulders to possibly getting tossed to your back. When you create angles and you create space, you avoid that.
Right, and then you went from one thing where you slipped and you didn't want to give up the 3, and you're trying to scramble to that close match. He tried to hit a switch without the hand, and that kind of was done for at that point.
All right, he's got the legs kind of straddling both legs here, well controlling the hips with a minute left. Not a good position to be in if you're Michalajczyk. He's got to scoot forward and try to get those legs back.
He's trying to work that left knee forward. Wisely does.
Schutz now has that wrist trap, but he's got lots of leverage, Michalajczyk does, as he comes up to his feet. Makes it 10-3. Breaks the major decision. We expect this dual meet to be close. We talked about it earlier when we had the Hastings-Wayzata match. All 3 teams pretty even. So every team point is going to be important. These first two matches are really important, that whatever team can come ahead and win both, even winning one, does help your team score.
For sure. And you sit there and you look at all 3 of these teams. You mentioned evenly matched. It's very easy to see teams go 2-0 in this one, and also 0-2 inside here.
Just to clear up a little confusion for the fans here, Wayzata is the away team. I know that it says 3-point takedown for red. I know that Wayzata is showing first, but they are the away team. Just want to be clear on that so people are not confused. Looks like Michalajczyk got banged up a little bit here as they kind of collided. Came up a little woozy. They're going to call out the trainer as they kind of collided. Michalajczyk got the worst of it, though.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you take care of your wrestler, right? He's just got to calm down, and he's got plenty of time to work it out. Yeah. As far as when you're talking about head injuries, you never want to rush it back. You want to be on the side of caution.
Well, and realistically, these matches really don't mean a ton. I mean, sections are just around the corner, about 3 weeks away. You want to have them for sections. All right, so again, you see the referee kind of talking about there's a little headbutt situation. Yep.
So, and what he just did is he said, stop the blood time, because you have all the time in the world when it comes to a head injury. They don't want any of these student athletes, right, to push themselves where they get into a position where it could harm them, not just now, but later on.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about both programs. Wayzata coming in the top 15 in the state. It's currently in the lean and mean rankings of the guillotine. They've had some losses to Shakopee, Stillwater, St. Michael, Albertville, wrestled some of the top teams in the state. They don't shy away from anybody.
No, they have a very, very tough schedule.
Yeah, they wrestle in the Christmas tournament, the Cheesehead tournament. They don't shy away from anybody. Cheesehead, arguably the most difficult individual tournament in the entire Midwest. You can see Coach Jake Johnson there for the Wayzata, former Hastings alumni. On the flip side of that, Prior Lake, in and out of the lean and mean. What I mean by that is in the top 15 rankings, they've had some really close losses to some top teams. They lost to Apple Valley by 1. They beat Waconia by 3, who's in the top 10.
Yes.
They beat Owatonna by 7. They're a tough squad, and I actually think that they're a little underrated.
Yeah.
The most recent rankings came out. They're not in the top 15 anymore, which is kind of surprising. They've taken some losses in that brutal South Suburban Conference where every single week you're wrestling the likes of Farmington or Apple Valley or Shakopee. That's a brutal conference to have to go up against every single week.
And we saw that same kind of. You look at those top teams. They try to get hard schedules. Now they have a hard schedule because of their conference, but then their out of conference matches is not easy as well, or easy either. You look at our state championship team. You look at the schedule that we went through, where we took losses, and we were dropping down those rankings. But it really helps you later on in the year. It's going to help kids like Rocco, kids like Liam Collins, that they're wrestling top teams and top wrestlers in the state, because it helps them get ready for that state tournament, which is, when it comes to individual goals, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and Prior Lake at the Christmas tournament as well. So they definitely wrestle some of the toughest kids in the state. They were at the Ellsworth Invite. They were at the Rogers Holiday Madness, which is a really tough 20-team invite right around the Christmas season. They don't shy away from anybody.
No, and it's awesome to see. You want to see coaches that want to go at it.
You know what's kind of interesting too is I look at these two teams. They're very similar. Super tough down low.
Yes.
And then they have in the middleweights a lot of guys that have been in their program for a couple years, juniors, seniors. Maybe aren't the most talented in terms of records, but guys that have been in your program that are gritty and tough.
They're not the world beaters.
No.
Right? They're not going to be going out there beating the top team or top kids on somebody else's team. But those are your glue guys that you need inside the room that really build a team. And you can build a team around young glue guys, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like we're back in the action here.
Yeah. Schutz has a pretty sizable lead here going in the third period. Mikolazic going to cut that injury time. Kind of got dinged on the headbutt as he goes chin drop. Up 13-3 with about 15 seconds left. Schutz not easing up at all, just grinding on Mikolazic in that top position.
No, and you kind of saw those two little flares. I like this, though. He continues to wrestle. He's got 5 seconds. He could just lay on the mat. This shows you a lot about what the kind of kid Rocco is. He's going to battle all the way to the last second.
What a statement victory for Peter Schutz.
Yes.
Going in there and majoring the number 8 ranked kid in the state.
Yeah.
Absolutely laying the hammer on him.
And then that was a 3-2 match going into the last period. And he just took advantage, stayed in good position, took advantage what Rocco gave him, came out with the major.
All right, so that'll take us to an early 4-0 lead here for the Wayzata Trojans, where we go to the premier match of the night. We're going to see Liam Collins, currently ranked number 2 in the state, taking on Wyatt Kunon, the number 3 ranked wrestler in the state.
Yeah, and you sit there and you look at, if you look at this match, does it come down to the wrestlers? What do they want to do?
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at the team, you mentioned that both teams are in the top 15. They're having successful seasons, but when it comes, they're not wrestling for a
beautiful
state
underhook, switch to that single. Early takedown by Liam Collins. He is so tough on his feet. Returning state champ on 107 pounds last year. He is a hammer.
Yeah.
That was so slick with that underhook right to that single leg. A little bit about Liam Collins. He is a Fargo All-American, state champ, a 2022 U.S. Open champ, and a Pan-American double champ in Fargo
baby.
and Greco.
So not just on the U.S. terms, he's going all over.
Yeah, internationally. I mean,
Yes.
within North America, dominating. Wyatt Kunon, in his own right, ranked 3rd in the state, has had a great season. He was 2nd at the Christmas tournament, outplacing Liam Collins, who got upset earlier. He's a returning state qualifier. Was at the Cheesehead tournament where he wrestled some of the top Wisconsin kids as well. So he's wrestled a lot of tough kids.
Yes. And you sit there and he's wrestling. There's trying to get up off his feet or up to his feet, try to control those wrists as much as possible. Collins not giving him any room. You can see so much pressure going forward, trying to break that arm down. Oh, now we got to our feet. This is your opening if you're Wyatt.
Trapping that arm, though, as he goes forward with it. Collins, a seasoned veteran. Been with the Prior Lake program for a long time. Wyatt Kunon, also a seasoned veteran. That Kunon family, well known for successful wrestlers at Wayzata, as a nice mat return to finish off the period. It'll be a 3-0 lead for Liam Collins going into this second period.
Yeah, I believe, and you mentioned, I believe it was Conan's brother, right? Conan's brother that wrestles. Does he wrestle for Augustana? Is that
I believe
correct?
so, yep.
Yeah. So wrestling up at that second level.
All right, Collins is going to defer. Kunan's going down in the second period. Yeah, wrestling family for sure.
Yes.
All right, I'm curious to see what will Liam Collins do here. He got a takedown within the first 10 seconds. Does he want to go back to his feet, or does he want to ride him out here? Did not have any success turning him, as Kunon gets up to his feet right away. Collins drives across in that double. Good return.
But it was a quick return. It seems so small, though, those little battles right there. It was a quick return to the mat. You didn't sit on the feet. You didn't waste any energy. You dropped onto the legs, then you quickly covered. All of this ride time really pays dividends, even though it doesn't seem like much is going on right now. That pays dividends when it comes to that third period. Trying to hold and carry somebody else's weight for a full 2 minutes is not easy.
These two have not wrestled each other this year. However, there are some common opponents, both of them losing to a St. Michael Eberville wrestler at the Christmas tournament. Good movement, though, by Conan, trying to get away, but Collins wisely just follows, controlling that wrist from that top position.
And he's doing an excellent job trying to chop to that wrist, coming underneath to a wrist. I'm wondering at some point, are we going to see a stalemate or just from the top position? Because he has been parallel for a little bit of time here. But he's doing a really, really nice job just trying to chop that wrist and control it.
Yeah, and I think you see those stall calls when your head's on the mat, not really looking to improve, but Conan has created a little bit of space and has gotten up off his hip as he works up right here.
Yeah,
Collins still controlling, though.
And I'm kind of looking from the Collins' aspect, right?
Oh,
He's kind of been from behind a lot.
Hasn't gone off to the side.
Gotten off to the side, yep. And sometimes, depending upon the referee, may not like it.
One more time for our viewers. Wayzata in the pinstripe yellow and blue. Prior Lake in the navy.
And there's the stall call that I was kind of
didn't really get off to the hip.
Yep, he was continuing to grind, right? He was still working, but he was working in that same position from behind him.
Yeah, and they're going to call you for that every time you're not looking for like a pinning combination.
Yes.
You're just riding from those hips.
Yeah, and that's all he was doing. He was just really kind of grinding on top, trying to wear him down.
He was switch position for Conan, but nothing doing here as Collins wisely stays right behind him.
Yes, but did you see that right foot? That right foot hooked Conan's back leg. He couldn't continue his hip motion. Very, very smart wrestling.
Yeah, that's advanced wrestling for
and again,
a young wrestler.
I'd love to see a shot of that. I don't know if we have it, but he just kept that toe up, elevated that ankle, and he was able to stay in control.
All right, Collins going down this third period. Boy, I know it sounds weird, but these are two big 114 pounders.
Yes.
It seems weird to call a 114 to 1 big, but
No.
these guys are all 114. All right, Collins going down this third period. Conan's got to get a turn to get back in this match.
But when you're watching this match, this is the number 2 against number 3 kids in the state, really going at it. You expect a tight match, and right now it's a takedown.
Yep.
Right on top, Liam Collins was just able to control it for that full 2 minutes. We'll see what Conan can do. See if we can get a quick turn. If he doesn't get a turn, do you start looking to cut?
Yeah.
Right. You got to get some action. You got to get some points.
Or a possible stall call, and
Yes.
then all of a sudden you change your tactics, right? I'm actually surprised that Collins did not cut earlier. Oh, he gets a little reversal position. This is dangerous, though,
Yep.
for both
Conan's
wrestlers.
Conan's on top.
Had
right?
a 1 count for a second. Conan's got that leg elevated. If he can just hit back into him.
But he's tying up these arms.
He might get back points here. Oh, he gave him a 1 count, but
close.
nothing.
He got
no change in position.
Got a couple of 1 counts there. Conan wisely kept control of that leg, right? And he just slowly sat back. But Collins knew kind of where he was at. He got the 1 count, then he came back up. Got the 1 count, came back up.
Yeah, savvy wrestling by
Yes.
Conan to not panic there.
And you see Wayzata coach is telling him to cut.
Push the pace now.
Yep.
Down 4-0. He's got to get his leg attacks going. We saw Collins get to it early in that first period. Collins just blocking off. This might be a good chance to get a stall call in that. Oh, nice little slide by. Or excuse me, short drag position there.
Trying to get those cheap points. And again, Collins is in the more defensive mode. Now you're looking, if you're Collins, slowly working for something. That little shuck kind of gets into the mind of the ref. He goes, okay, he is looking to score.
Yeah.
That was very, very smart. Just that little try to shuck there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you're trying to score there, so in the ref's mind, you're showing some action.
Correct.
As Collins takes his time going back to the center.
And that kind of resets the clock inside the ref's head.
Conan with kind of a half shot attempt. Collins not giving up any space. Good single attempt here. If Conan can elevate, see if he can score here. Short time. Collins tries to roll through. He's got his back exposed. They're not going to give him anything. And they'll run out of time. So it'll be a 4-0 victory for Liam Collins. But I'll tell you right there, Wyatt Conan impressed me.
Yes.
He was the aggressor in the second half of that match.
100%. Once you saw that takedown by Collins, he rode tough, right? He was
Absolutely.
on top. Anytime you can keep a guy down for 2 minutes, that's a tough ride. And that kind of, again, I mentioned it before, it pays dividends going later into the match.
All right, we got 2 young freshmen going at 121 pounds. We got Charlie Williams for Wayzata, the long, lanky 9th grader. We saw him wrestle Beckett Edstrom the first match of the night, taking on Jack Jerstead, the 9th grader who was 12th at the Christmas tournament. These two actually wrestled at the Christmas tournament and he beat Charlie Williams 3-0 the first time. It was a
close
one
match.
takedown match.
Right, so now you sit here and who has improved, right?
Yeah.
Who has learned from that very first match?
And I'm going to guess these guys have probably watched that film before. Oh, good shot
times.
there by Jerstead. He gets deep on that shot. Charlie Williams tries to get out of it, but that's an early takedown for Jerstead. He tries to go leg ride.
This is kind of what happened last time. I believe it was more Jerstead was able to get that takedown to go up 3-0 and finally win the match. So I'm guessing there was a lot of motion, a lot of things happening on top and bottom, but nobody could get away.
Charlie Williams has that leg in a position where he could possibly score here if he can just keep his body moving. He can't plant his head on the mat. You're going to call potentially dangerous as the knee gets twisted around.
Yeah, it was on the other side. We couldn't quite see it. In all honesty, that was definitely a benefit for Jerstead because that was a position where he could have been reversed. Charlie Williams slowly working that leg out, looking for the reversal, but had to get the whistle stop.
I'm going to guess this is not going to be the last time these two guys wrestle. Both being ninth graders, both about the same size in terms of frame as well.
Yep.
I'd love to know if these guys wrestled each other when they were younger. My guess is probably.
Yeah, you wonder how many times they wrestled when they were like you mentioned when they were younger, but outside of regular tournaments. Did they wrestle at the state tournament? Have they wrestled each other maybe at Gopher State Nationals or all that? Continuing to work on top. 51 seconds, working for that tough ride. Again, you're trying to keep all of that pressure forward as much as you can. Looks possibly for a cradle opportunity. Smart wrestling by Charlie Williams, controlling that hand as much as possible, not giving him any room. 30 seconds to go. You can see Jerstead really has that ankle hooked, which makes it very difficult for Charlie Williams to get up. Keeping it hooked. Again, Charlie Williams has that hand. I like the wrist control. That's what you need to do. If you're on bottom, you need wrist control to get out.
All right, as we get to the last 10 seconds of the first period. Sorry, I took a little break in action there.
That's all right. You got to get some water.
Yeah, Jerstead really controlling that top position as he gets a cradle locked up.
Right
run
at
out
the
of
very
time.
end. Now the question is, does that little lock change your mindset going forward?
Maybe.
See, because we didn't get away. He really didn't get into an opportunity where he was close to getting up.
It is Jerstead's choice. He's going to go back neutral.
Okay.
Probably a good choice. He got that takedown in the first period. But in a 3-0 match, obviously one takedown can change the match. We saw Williams get deep on some shots against Edstrom in the first match.
Great secondary shot, that re-shot by Jerstead. He saw that Charlie Williams hit his hip, and then he kept attacking. I really, really like that.
Yeah, we saw him try to lock up that cradle at the end of the first period. He had locked up, just, ran out of time here.
Absolutely, yeah. But again, before he locked up that cradle, Charlie Williams did a great job at controlling wrists. And that's what he's doing right now. He's controlling wrists. So I'm wondering if he Jerstead tried to get a cradle in the first time they met.
Yep.
Right?
Jerstead going to cut him. Going to call stalling on Charlie Williams as he runs him out of bounds. When I looked at the rosters here, this was a match that I circled as kind of a match that could control the score.
Okay.
Even match, right? 3-0 the first time. For me, it's kind of a coin flip, but so far Jerstead has been definitely the aggressor, definitely controlling this match.
Yes, and that little stall call right at the very end, he continued to shoot out of bounds.
They're going to call Williams for stalling again, and he gave a penalty point for Jerstead.
And they gave him the stall call because his shoe came untied.
Yep.
That little thing, it's almost not allowing the match to continue. So he got a second stall call because his shoes are untied. You'll see a lot of wrestlers, they have a Velcro strap that covers those laces, or they'll tape their laces to try to not allow that to happen. Because I tell you what, it's a bummer when it does.
And before they actually made that a rule, guys would purposely loosely tie their shoes to give themselves a breather in the match. So I loved it. I love the change. They made it probably 6-7 years ago. Another stall call, but they're going to call it on green this time. Jerstead backing out.
The ref is named Kirby, so Kirby's trying to get him to circle back in as much as he possibly can.
Williams trying to score here. He's in a front headlock position. See if he can score here.
Oh, I love that elevation of that arm. Do you see that elbow coming up off the mat? That's great technique. If you can just keep it, that's a lot of pressure.
That far knee dump. I like that.
but it's hard to do it at the edge of the mat.
It is. But he's in a shot here, switches off. A lot of length between these two wrestlers. You can hear Coach Joe Block from the corner telling him what to do here. Both teams have veteran coaches that have been with these programs for a long time. Coach Block for Prior Lake, Coach Swenson for Wayzata. Both teams typically cracking the top 10 rankings. I would say both teams kind of in a rebuilding mode this year.
Yep.
But both quality coaches that develop within. Prior Lake for a long time had a strong kids program. They still do.
Right.
And they have developed into a traditional top 15 program.
Going into that third period, looks like we got blood time.
It's on Prior Lake.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Wayzata.
Okay.
They are the red team. Although
it does look like his choice. Now the question is, where do you go? Right? Do you go on top and take a chance?
I don't think you do. I think you go on your feet, personally.
Yeah, okay.
You've taken the kid down twice.
Jerstad's been the, isn't it Wayzata's choice?
Oh, correct. It is Wayzata's choice.
So
My
now
apologies.
you sit there and you're looking at that. You've been taken down twice. You can't get out from bottom. So then what do? Do you try to go for just to see if you can turn him? Because obviously Jerstad wanted to go on the feet.
Yep. That's the only position we haven't seen.
Correct.
So far.
And he goes back on the feet. Top is a tough call.
It is a tough call unless you're an absolute hammer and you have a go-to move.
Yes.
And I will say Williams was maybe the aggressor in the last minute of that last period. So a takedown changes the match pretty significantly.
Yes.
Here. Williams does have a good shot. We saw him in that first match of the night get in on those legs a couple times. Jerstad in the shot though. Good leg attack as William tries to keep his hips off the mat.
And again, he's trying to. If you're Jerstad, try to elevate those legs a little bit, maybe shoot
A little roll through, but nothing doing as they run out of bounds.
He was so close to popping his head up. And if you could pop those head up, cover the hips right at the edge of the mat, that would have been a quick 3.
Now looking ahead a little bit, the next match is also going to be a crucial one. As I look at 127, both guys are going to roll out another 9th grader at 127. Both young kids, both talented young kids at that.
Yeah, if you look at Wayzata's lineup,
Jerstad drives across, not takedown yet, but Charlie Williams' head is down. Comes up to that whip over position. He's in a dangerous position. He's got a takedown and he's got back points and he's got over a minute to operate.
And if you're Jerstad, try to sink your chest back as much as possible. Looks like he's losing the arm. Nicely done by Charlie Williams, trying to snake that arm all the way to his belly. Now he's trying to attack a leg, and I want him to get up to his base as he's doing that. Try to power into it.
Yeah, Jerstad's got the major decision right now. Up 12-1. And now at this point, you look for a tech fall, right? With just under a minute left. All it's going to take is really one more turn, and you got it. And that would be big team points for Prior Lake, who we said is kind of an underrated team. This would be a statement win for them to beat a team like Wayzata, who is above you in the rankings.
Yep. And you look at the match. This was a coin flip. When you look at it on paper, a 3-0 match, that is a coin flip.
Yep.
Okay. Jerstad's definitely changed that mentality. Yep. Going with 30 seconds left, up 11 points, one turn away from attack.
Mm-hmm. We talked about the importance of some of these matches. So many of these weight classes down below have young kids.
Yep.
Prior Lake and Wayzata throwing out 9th graders at this weight class. Wayzata does have a 9th grader at 133 if they want to throw one out. There's some young talent on display here tonight in Hastings. If you're a wrestling fan and you're tuning in online, come on down to Hastings. We got some great wrestling still ahead. We're about just starting this dual meet, really, and then Hastings is going to take on Prior Lake in that last dual meet of the evening. So a 12-1 dominant victory for Jack Jerstad, the young 9th grader, really taking it to Charlie Williams, widening that gap from earlier in the season.
Yeah, and if you're Prior Lake, you're loving this. Obviously, you win, right? You got bonus points there, which is huge. But again, you're trying to slowly build that lead as much as you possibly can, because maybe in the next few weights, not so much right now, but later on in the match, in those upper middle weights, we might be a little bit weaker, right? Trying to get that lead and then hold on to it.
All right, now we get to the next weight class, 127 pounds. Wayzata's going to send out Zeke Rodriguez. And Prior Lake's going to send out Brody Daly. Okay, they're going to warn Zeke Rodriguez, kind of hit him in the head, kind of an illegal hit here. Anytime you're overly aggressive and you smack that head, they're going to give a penalty point. Brody Daly tries to sit through him. Good shot there by Zeke. As he drives across and gets that double. Now we know he's tough in this position. Ooh, nice little roll through. Tries to go Granby roll.
Smart trying to sneak that leg in. But do you see how Daly was able to catch that leg as he comes in? Oh, he let it go.
Now he sinks in those legs. Gets in both of those boots. Tries to stretch him out. He's underneath those armpits. It's a good position for Zeke if he can keep his hips up. We saw Zeke really tough on top.
Yes.
Super tough in that position. When he got on top, multiple turns.
Yeah, and anytime you see a guy throw legs in, that's when on bottom you don't want to be there.
Yeah. Daly getting away. It's now 3-2 because of the penalty point. Good flurry of action in that first minute.
Yeah, I actually really like the shot by Daly right off the whistle. Catches a lot of guys off guard, right? Maybe their weight's a little bit too far forward. Oh, here's a shot.
Another nice shot there by Zeke Rodriguez.
Look at Daly keeping that leg to the outside. You'll see his toe come up. Great hips. Oh.
Great finish there.
Yes.
A little bit about these two guys. Zeke Rodriguez, 5th at the Gopher State in 2023, so he's definitely been wrestling for a while. Brody Daly, 6th at Gopher State last year. So both guys wrestling in that Midwest series where some of the best wrestlers in the nation wrestle.
Yeah, but you sit there and you look at Zeke was 5th in last year at 2023, and Daly was 6th. So they're right there even.
Yeah, and they could have wrestled before. I will tell you, I think Zeke was with their high school program last year as well.
Sorry, yep.
So maybe a little bit more seasoned in terms of varsity experience.
Right.
So after one period, it looks like it's going to be a 3-2 lead for Zeke Rodriguez. Ooh, close to a takedown, but nothing. Nope. Good flurry of wrestling.
Yes, and
stop saying that. I got to give him a little more time.
And you sit there right before the end of the period. That hard snap with that right hand that Daly had. That was excellent timing. He caught all of the momentum kind of coming forward of Zeke Rodriguez, using that momentum and that pressure.
Wayzata chooses down in the second period as Daly trying to ride tough and close this gap. It is 6-3. He did get that takedown. Our apologies on the score. It's kind of a delay update. He did get the 2 takedowns. 3 escapes for the Prior Lake wrestler. We got that correction made. Sorry, 2 escapes and a penalty point.
Thank you. Controlling that wrist. You can see a kind of a theme happening. Liam Collins did it at 114. Trying to control those
Daly
wrists.
Trying to lock up a cradle here. He's got that crossface locked tight. He's trying to walk to it.
Yep, controlling the wrist as much as possible. You can see Zeke Rodriguez controlling that hand. Right, he doesn't like to be tied up. If you could post that hand down to the mat, maybe just tripod up and circle out.
Boy, I'm pretty impressed with these 2 ninth graders.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that they're ninth graders the way they're wrestling tonight.
No, last match and this match.
Yep. Smart wrestling there by Zeke. Passes the arm over. If he can plant that arm on the mat, he can escape pretty easily.
But again, there's that knee.
Zeke going to try to hop over here, but good hips there by Daly trying to flatten him out.
Yep, and you can see
reset.
Yeah, got the reset based on potentially dangerous on that knee. It was a smart position that Brody was in. He continued, like he fell to his hip.
Nice Granby roll
nice
position.
Granby roll.
Called potentially dangerous. His head got kind of wrenched on there.
It was coming across the throat too. That's always a point of emphasis, making sure that the wrestlers are staying safe.
Get a reset here with about 40 seconds left. Good wrestling action by both wrestlers. Zeke tries to roll through with that Granby yet again. Got that wrist trap, though. You're not going to be able to Granby through. Gets a little wrist trap tilt here. Coach Block wants those back points. He's yelling at Kirby, wants those back points. Not going to get that argument going your way. It was close.
It was. And you just couldn't try it. You just couldn't keep those legs elevated. That was a tough piece.
But Daly looking pretty tough in this top position.
Nice hard crossface. Going right back to his cradle with 5 seconds left. Can he try to lock it up, get a quick turn?
All right, it will be Prior Lake's choice in the third period. Are they going to go neutral? Are they going to go down? They want to go down. No hesitation there. Daly's going back down.
Again, another period where he rode him out for 2 minutes. I mentioned it in the Liam Collins match. It is not easy, and that's exactly what happened in this one as well.
You can just see how confident Daly was after that second period. Like, let's go, I'm ready to rock.
Yep.
It's a huge boost for any wrestler when they can ride a guy out for an entire period.
For sure.
Unfortunately, Zeke Rodriguez is pretty tough in this position. We saw some success, although Daly did get away from him. But in the first match we saw him against Brock Lundstrom, he really rode tough in that position.
Right.
He's going to that coffee grinder position, trying to really wrench on that armpit, control that wrist. Daly wisely brings in his hand. No, he locks up a cradle. Trying to bring him back.
And he does.
So they have back points here. Boy, you hit that perfectly.
That was quick timing. That leg came up for a quick second.
He's got about a minute to flatten out the shoulder. See if he can get the pin. Loses the grip for a second. He's going to get the 4-point near fall, but Daly's going to come up to his feet. He's going to get the 1-point escape. So that should be 10-4 now in favor of Zeke Rodriguez.
That was a fantastic switch. He went from one side to the next, right? He went from the right side and then locked up a quick cradle, and it just takes that lock. That lock was so strong, able to bring him back for those quick forward back points. Yes.
All right, now they're going to give a penalty point to Wayzata here. Again, clubbing on that head. See the ref giving him some instructions like, guys, tone it back a little bit. That's a little bit too aggressive. 11-4 now. Takedown gets the major decision for Wayzata. Coach Swenson urging him on to get that takedown because he knows the importance of every... Oh, nice shot there. Head goes down, though, to the mat. That's not a good position to be in. He comes back up off the mat, see if he can circle behind.
Yeah, Daly was in a good position on that sprawl, and then all of a sudden, Rodriguez was able to sink those hips back in. He's a little stretched out there.
A little stalemate position, neither guy improving. He had a great shot. He just kind of stopped moving.
And then Daly had a fantastic sprawl, but then one thing I loved about that shot was actually getting the hips underneath the second time.
Yep. Yeah, Zeke, if he just cut the corner there, he had that takedown. Just kind of stopped moving for a split second. And he got a heavy dose of hips.
But again, good wrestling coming from a couple of solid ninth graders.
Hard to believe these guys are ninth graders. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
and even the physicality between these two. You don't see that from a lot of ninth graders.
No. I mean, at the very beginning, you talk about physicality. Rodriguez was warned by our ref about the physicality on going on the head. And then all of a sudden, later on, Daly lost a point because he was too physical.
All right, so that'll be 3 points for Wayzata as they extend their lead to 7-3 after 127 pounds. That'll take us to 133 pounds. Well, let's see who Wayzata throws out here. They're going to send out Mike Graves, the senior, or are they going to send out Mike Cohen, the ninth grader? We saw Graves in the first match going against Trey Bisel.
Yep, and I think he's wrestling out there again.
I think this is Graves again. This is Mike Graves. Let's see who Prior Lake sends out there. This might be Wyatt Smith or Owen Tronson. All right, so this is Owen Tronson for Prior Lake. Typically, their backup. He's going to take the mat against Mike Graves. Mike Graves, a senior. Tronson, a junior. Graves in on an early takedown. Goes right into that trap arm roll. A little bit about Mike Graves. He's a senior, 6th at sections last year. He was 4th at the Osseo tournament this year. Tronson, a junior. He was 5th at the Ellsworth invite. Actually wrestled Jack Bainbridge early in the year and lost 22-9. He's around 500 on the year.
Yep.
Again, 2 glue guys, probably been in their program for a while. You need guys like this in your program because they make everyone else around them better.
Right, and they kind of lead by example. So you saw a couple of ninth graders, 3 ninth graders for Wayzata in the last match, or the last 3 weights, right? And then they also have Mike Cohen, who's a ninth grader at 133 pounds. Graves, as a senior, definitely leads by that example, helping those ninth graders get their feet wet on the varsity mat.
All right, back on her feet, 3-1 in favor of Graves. Yeah, and good programs have depth, right? And you can throw a variety of guys out. And Prior Lake and Wayzata have that. They have it at multiple weights where they have a lot of kids where they can choose from. And you saw how depth was a factor in the Hastings versus Wayzata match.
Yes.
Right? Hastings had depth where even though they had guys missing, their backups came up and really battled.
Yeah. Wrestling is a long season. Winter sports, nice.
Good shot attempt by Tronson. Now he's got it elevated, looking to score here against Graves.
He came out.
Covers the hips, and he's going to get the 3-point takedown. 4-3 now in favor of Tronson as they go out of bounds. Good wrestling there by Tronson, just didn't stop moving.
And he came kind of split the legs, came out through the middle, elevated the leg, and then right at the edge of the mat, he got the takedown. If I sound a little flustered, a pretzel just got passed by me. And man,
got
does it smell
distracted.
good. Holy cow.
You're hungry, huh?
I guess so. I didn't think I was, but then I smelled it. And it's coming from these concession stands. And
Yeah, unfortunately, the concession stands are right behind us, just tempting us the entire match.
I know.
Trojans in on a deep waist, trying to really control him with short time here.
It looks like he's trying to lock up a bar. He's got it tight.
He's going to try to run over the top here. He's got Graves in a dangerous position
2
with short
seconds
time.
left.
He's not going to get it, though. But that does make you think, though, if you're the coach of Prior Lake, we had some success, do we want to go back to that position?
How many times have we said that? There's so many times at the end of a period, a crate will get locked up.
Yep.
Okay, that bar just got locked up. We got a quick turn.
Yep.
Right? We've now said that for this duel. We've said it for the last duel. A lot of things to think about.
Yes. So Tronson chooses down in the second period. He got away in the first period. Got away and then got a takedown to make it 4-3. As Graves runs him out of bounds. Wayzata in the same section as St. Michael Albertville, unfortunately. That no one wants to be in their section.
And that's I mean, you look at the lineup for St. Michael Albertville, it's solid from top to bottom, right? And Wayzata's now you're not going to win the section title,
No.
right? I mean, St. Michael Albertville is a whole different beast, but now you start looking for those individual goals. You've got kids like Conan, you've got kids like Schutz, you've got kids later on like Briggs.
Nice
that
shot
we're gonna
attempt
see.
there by Tronson. He's going to score again as he keeps his toes on the mat. Savvy wrestling by the junior Tronson. Really good wrestling.
And like I said,
Extends the lead to 8-3.
you're looking for those individual titles at that point.
Prior Lake in Section 2 with Apple Valley. Apple Valley is probably going to be the top dog in that section. However, there's some tough teams in there. Farmington's in that section. Rosemont's in that section.
And Prior Lake only lost to Apple Valley by what? 1? Was it 1 or 2?
By 1.
By 1.
So it could be any one section.
Yeah.
Farmington's no slouch. They wrestled Hastings really tough. New Prague's in that section as well.
Absolutely. Here's that bar. He's down and out of bar.
Tronson's got some time, and that's nice and slow. Runs him right over the top.
If you saw
That's
that
tight.
that far shoulder got pinned.
Gets
and
the pin.
He was able to kind of continue that right shoulder with the bar once you pop down or once you pin that far shoulder down in that bar, and that's why it allowed you to go around the head.
All right, just like that, Prior Lake takes the lead. Let's see this one more time. Gets that armbar locked up, flattens that far
And
shoulder.
you can see those hips just kind of drop straight down, right? All that weight, that's tough.
Gets the pin, and it gets the lead for the Lakers as we go up to 139 pounds. Where they have some flexibility here. Jake Luther's going to take the mat for Wayzata. Let's see what happens there. I'm guessing this is going to be Wyatt Smith, but let's see what happens.
We're just waiting for the announcer to kind of let us know.
This is Wyatt Smith. Thank you. And if you're a fan tuning in tonight and we make any mistakes on the names, please correct us because we love hearing from you guys. We love that you're tuning in tonight. We obviously want to grow wrestling. Even though we're Hastings guys, we love to hear from you guys. We love to hear that we made mistakes too. That's how we learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to make sure that we give the athletes their due spotlight, right?
Yeah, we got Jake Luther taking the mat for Wayzata, a senior who's 5th at the Eastview Lightning tournament. Does have a losing record coming into this year, but he's had some good matches. He's battled some tough kids. Wyatt Smith taking the mat for the Lakers. He was 4th at the sectional tournament last year. He's 4th at the Ellsworth Invite. Has a record around 500 this year, so this should be a pretty even match. This could be a match that, again, I circled. Whoever wins this one really might take control of the dual meet. Okay. I looked at the last match. I looked at the one before that. I looked at 114. Really, as I looked at all the weights that we've seen so far, there's a lot of close matches.
Yeah, there's quite a few flip matches.
This one, though, I don't know who they're going to send out. Obviously, they sent Tronson at 33. If they can win this one, Prior Lake does. They're in a pretty good position. You don't want to have it come down to heavyweight. Prior Lake clearly has an advantage there.
Yep.
Even with having Briggs op there,
he's wrestling.
Brock Zern is hammered.
Yes. Watch this dump to a fireman's. Can he bring that right hand around his back?
Luther in good shape here. If he can pop his head out, gets
Now,
the takedown.
Can he continue with that Turk? Oh, looks like they got a little blood time.
All right, a little blood time for Wayzata.
Which is too bad because he was in a good position, right? Had the leg split, either going into a Turk position, going to that butcher. That definitely helped out Owen.
So let's talk a little bit about these individual.
Wyatt.
Yes. Jake Luthard, that's the guy who got the takedown. Wyatt Smith, the guy who got taken down. Let's talk a little bit about these section meets. We talked about that. There's 2 different sections here, but let's talk about 114. Liam Collins had the upper hand against Wyatt Kunon. The currently #1 ranked kid at 114 is Eli Schultz from St. Michael, Albertville. Could be anyone's weight class, though.
Right.
Liam Collins kind of got beat up against Eli Schultz the first time. I think he wants that rematch.
For sure. But he's going to have to go through Kunon.
Yes.
Right? And then you also have, I know LaRose from Mounds View is a very, very technical wrestler. He's very good. Doffenbach from Stillwater is very
Castle
good.
from Wilmer,
Yes.
super tough as well.
You got Saitiro Kong.
Yep.
That's also very good.
Then you got some kid named Beckett Edstrom from Hastings that might have something to say, too.
Yeah, you know what? And finally wrestling, I would have liked to see that match.
Yeah. And then we go to 107, where we had 2 ranked wrestlers as well. Rocco Mikolajczyk losing to Peter Schutz. They're 8th and 10th. They're right below the rankings with William Bainbridge. William Bainbridge currently ranked 5th from Hastings. Not wrestling tonight, coming off a knee injury.
Yes, and he's just taking time right now to rest. I know he's been in the room a little bit, but you don't want to rush him back at this time of the year.
Good mat return there by Luthard. Smith up to his feet yet again.
Now
though.
he's trying
to look through a little turn here,
Yep.
try to roll through.
He's trying to roll through. If he can just get those hips turned just for a split second, he would have turned him right to his back. Look for the split. I'm wondering, are they going to call it stall call at some point because they've been staying on their feet? They did not. Prior Lake was able to get away.
All right, so Smith gets the escape there right at the buzzer. They'll take the match from 3-0 to 3-1. Smith defers here. It'll go to Luthard. Luthard's choice, trying to get directions. Oops, sorry, they flipped it around here. Now, there it is. Luthard's choice. All right, Luthard's going to go back on his feet. One more time for our viewers. Wayzata is being shown as the home team, but they're actually the away team in this dual meet.
There you go.
A little confusing for our viewers, but just to clear it up a little bit.
And you look at Luthard, he got that first takedown. He had a very, very nice fireman's. Oh, and looks like Wyatt Smith's trying his own fireman's. Good battle by Luthard, keeping those hips away. Now, if you're Wyatt Smith, work for that
long.
work for that out of bounds, right? Look where you are.
Yeah, Luthard just has so much length. It's hard to get a shot on him because he sprawls out. And you got a lot of leverage.
And he was in that front head position, and yet he was so far behind. His legs were so far back. He was still able to reach that ankle, trying to lift up and elevate that ankle as much as possible.
Kind of a half shot attempt by Luthard, just showing the ref that, hey, I'm staying active here. As he goes right to that front headlock position. He's in a power position
He's
here.
got a nice head in the
with
hole
Smith's
here.
head down. If he can just go behind.
Trying to almost reach for that far hip. Wow, Wyatt Smith, good battle there, keeping his hips away.
2 well-coached teams. We talked about it. Two veteran coaches that have been around for a long, long time. These guys are always well-coached.
And I really like the position Luthard took, right? He threw that, we call it a head in the hole. Once you pull that arm out, hey, your head kind of goes right in between his armpit and his legs, okay? And that's a tough position to get out, but somehow Wyatt Smith was able to.
Luthard still clinging to a 3-1 lead here. About 45 seconds left in the second period.
And you can see that look at that left arm by Wyatt Smith, by the Lakers. There's that dump that he's trying to.
So long again, trying to get that leverage. If he can get his leg snake through. Wow, he goes inside on that leg.
Yes. And what that's doing is it's losing that momentum. Now, you got to have really good balance.
Yeah, that drive leg just kind of loses its momentum.
But see, and you can see his foot, that toe is hooking the actual ankle, so it's not allowing the leg to get out.
Might be calling stalemate here if nothing happens. That was smart wrestling there by Luthard, though, snaking that leg in, creating kind of a stalemate position. That's very unorthodox.
Yes, absolutely. And he went for all of the momentum. The fireman's carry is a very, very big momentum shot. Once you have that arm and control that arm, trying to dump him down and throw his leg by, And Luther did a great job. He snuck that leg in, but then kept the toe up.
Yes.
That was the key.
Yeah.
And he kept that toe up and was able to kind of avoid the takedown.
Yeah, really good wrestling by both wrestlers. Luther really wrestling savvy there. It is Smith's choice. He's going to go down 3-1 here. He did get away in that first period. Hey, if you're a Hastings wrestling fan tuning into this match and wondering why Hastings is not wrestling, it's because this is a triangular meet, and they'll be taking on Prior Lake in the third match of the night.
Yeah, the home teams in those triangulars wrestle first, and then they wrestle third.
Yes. So,
which is tough as a wrestler.
Yes.
You know, you get into a momentum, you get your body ready for one match, and then you cool down, then you have to get your body ready for that next match. And to me, it was always easier to wrestle first and second, have 2 back-to-back matches. It was easier for your body.
However, I think there's some advantage of watching your opponent wrestle too.
There is that advantage.
Whereas Prior Lake obviously got to see Hastings right away, but they come off a little bit tired maybe going to that second match.
Yes. And you also, top wrestlers, or top-ranked wrestlers know kind of what the other kid's going to do, right?
Good mat return there by Luther.
And then right into a hard crossface.
He's got that crossface locked hard.
Right to a butcher.
To that cradle. Now he's going to keep that leg elevated, though.
And like I was saying, those top end wrestlers have watched tape against other top end wrestlers. So I'm guessing Conan and Liam Collins have watched each other, whether it's on Flow Wrestling, whether it's on the actual mat at the Christmas tournament. They've watched each other. But you're definitely right that it is a little bit of a advantage. Hastings has watched.
Mitch, do me a quick favor.
What's that?
Do the math on this match. Is the score incorrect? Is it 13-7?
Well, in all honesty, I believe it is 13. For what?
The team score.
Team score is 13-7, yes.
Okay, I see that on there, but for some reason I have it wrong. Maybe I missed one match.
Did you carry the one?
You're the math teacher.
I know. You got your shoes on, so 20's hard.
All right, third period. This match is going to end up in favor of Jake Luthard, and that'll help out Wayzata's chances as they close the gap versus Prior Lake. It now becomes a 13-10 match.
Yeah, 13-10, and it's going to be going into this next match, right? We're probably looking at Thomas Williams against Zach Gabler.
Yeah,
is what I'm looking at.
And this is going to be an interesting one. You have 2 ninth grade state qualifiers going at it. Gabler, a junior, Williams, a sophomore at 145. Both wrestlers around 500 on the year. This is going to be an important match. Williams, savvy, tough kid. We have not seen Gabler yet, though.
Yeah, and it's another swing match, right? Gabler was a 9th grade state qualifier last year. Again, 2 wrestlers that are right around 500. You already mentioned that it was going to be a swing match, and let's see if that see who ends up on top, right? Ooh, whips it down all the way to the mat. Smart, getting back off your knees, back up to the feet, trying to work into a Russian tie there, right? Gabler's, again, got that 2-on-1, got the wrist, looking for an inside trip. Ooh, I like the head tap. Head tap to a leg, just couldn't finish it.
Oh, a little drag out position. Gabler's going to score here.
Nice.
Non-stop wrestling by both wrestlers.
That went from one end of the mat, right? They started in the circle. They started that little flurry, went to the other side, then all the way across to the bottom side of this mat.
All right, a little bit about each wrestler. Thomas Williams, a 10th grader from Wayzata. He was 5th at the Eastview tournament, 3rd at the Osseo invite. Zach Gabler, a junior for Prior Lake. He was 6th at the section tournament last year. He was a 9th grade state qualifier, and he's around 500 on the year. 2 evenly matched kids, but Gabler getting the early takedown. Yep. Saw Williams lose a close 1-0 nail biter against Fletcher Peterson the first time. He's stingy. He's tough to score against.
Yeah, in a 13-10 dual meet score here, that's a swing match is obviously important.
Yeah. All right, it runs him out of bounds. Gabler does, and we'll get a fresh restart. All right, this is another one that on paper I circled, and I'm like, this is going to be an interesting one.
Going into this match, there was a lot of circles on that paper.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, again, not knowing these wrestlers
right.
like we do with the Hastings kids, you're not really sure. You just look at records and look at results, but that doesn't really dictate like what the actual result is going to be. I will say this: Prior Lake will be favored in the next match. They have a stud. They have the 8th ranked wrestler in the state.
John Graham, solid.
Yep. I know Prior Lake will be favored at heavyweight. In between 152 and heavyweight, I have no clue what's going to happen. Yeah. There are a ton of solid kids. I will say 189, Wayzata will be favored.
Yep.
In between there,
And it'll be-
man, it's going to be a nail biter.
And it'll be interesting to see at 215 pounds. We saw Wayzata throw out Powell, right, in that very first match, and he was an athletic kid, strong athletic kid, looking for big fireworks. We saw fireworks in that match.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what we see in this one. Now again, going into the second period, it looks like Gabler took down. Right now, you saw what I saw on the side was Granberg's coach. He was saying, stay inside those armpits. You want to stay behind those armpits as much as possible, right? You don't want to get too far out front. You want to wrestle smart from behind the wrestler.
Yeah, Williams just trying to ride those hips, keep him down. Not really looking for a turn yet, but it's early.
Oh, I was one match ahead, wasn't I?
Yep.
I think I called him Granberg. Controlling that wrist, controlling that elbow. Again, keep that pressure forward.
What will make the next match difficult, though, is you have two wrestlers with very similar names, Graham and Granberg.
Yeah, I'll let you control that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm here for you, buddy.
All right. Gabler still has the lead here for Prior Lake, up 3-1 against Williams. You can see Fletcher Peterson in the background watching both wrestlers.
Yeah, and he wrestles 145 pounds. He wants to know what the style of wrestler that Prior Lake's going to throw out. You mentioned it already. It is an advantage. All right. You do want to see your opponent. I like to wrestle back-to-back matches rather than wait. But Fletcher, being a smart, savvy senior, watching that match there. Okay, going up, trying to lift here, trying to get that mat return. Oh, right into a switch position. That was, just couldn't continue that momentum, right? He stopped his hips, just stopped his hips. Keep going. Follow, trust yourself on those switches.
Yeah, there was a penalty point, though, that did help Gabler extend his lead to 4-1 with about 30 seconds in the second period. Gabler extending this lead. It'll be interesting to see what Williams decides to do in this third period.
Yeah.
Have not seen him be a real aggressive guy
There's
on his feet. Oh, that switch gets a reversal.
And you could see those hips just keep scooting around. All right, he kept moving. He controlled the inside leg, and it was an excellent switch. Now, one thing that I loved, he went to the switch, but you could see he's riding that opposite side. That's what you want to do, right?
Yep.
You don't want to just stop at that first hip, get all the way around to that second hip to get the full reversal.
So it is a 6-1 lead after 2 periods, and it is Wayzata's choice. He's going to go neutral. We haven't seen Williams get super aggressive on his feet. He did get deep on some shots at the end of the Fletcher-Peterson match. But he's got to go, and he's got to go now.
Oh, really nice switch off there.
Good shot attempt by Gabler as he gets another takedown. He now has a major decision locked up here as he cuts.
And he's trying to cut, maybe try to get some more points here.
He's going to try to work something. Look for the inside cradle as he comes up. It's now 9-2.
But he went from that front head position, right? Then to an underhook, back to that single. Good movement from one move to the next. There's an underhook again, trying to get that pass by single.
See what the call is here. Gonna call a headbutt. 1 point green. Okay. Oh, holding on the fingers. I see. Okay. So again, if you're holding on the fingers, twisting them, bending them, trying to hurt your opponent, it will be a penalty point for the other opponent. So Prior Lake extends their lead to 10-2. He's got the major locked up. However,
nice
Williams deep on a shot. See if he can lift and elevate here.
Again, you're trying to come up through right in between those legs if possible, or knock into his hip, one of those two.
Williams just kind of stopped moving, though, on that shot. You got to keep moving, otherwise you're going to get stuck in this position and get a stalemate. Similar to each other. Same last name.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to trust you.
If you're a Wayzata fan tuning in tonight, please put something in the comments and let us know. I would assume that they are brothers, though. All right, just under 25 seconds left here. Gabler well in control of this match. Those would be big team points for Prior Lake as we get closer and closer to the heavyweight match.
And you can see with 14 seconds, he is called for stalling right now. He wants to kind of sit in that front head as much as he possibly can. Let those last 5 seconds in that position, keep that major decision, which he does. Oh,
but big team points for the Lakers as they extend their lead to 17-10. And again, we talked about the importance. You better have at least a 6-point lead, 7-point lead, excuse me, going into heavyweight if you're Wayzata, because it's not going to end well for most heavyweights against Brock Zern.
Yep, and you can see right down by that head table, the coach is kind of just wondering about that call. Was what about those fingers made him call that penalty point? Kirby gave him the explanation. He doesn't like it pulled back. That's what he saw.
Yeah, and that one call really made an extra team point happen. If you think about it.
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to take us to 115 pounds, where Wayzata is going to send out a junior, Nate Granberg. And Prior Lake is going to send out John Graham, a senior currently ranked number 8 in the state, who just entered the rankings this week.
Yeah, it just actually got released yesterday.
Yep. So you got junior and senior taking the mat. Granberg fourth in the sections last year. He's had a lot of close matches this year. We saw him wrestle Mark Sabota the first time.
And if you sit there and you look at John Graham, right, going into just popping your name into that rankings tells you you're on a little bit of a hot streak, right? You're wrestling really, really well, especially at this time of the year. It's pushing for that section individual.
His big accolade this year was he was fourth at the Rogers Holiday Madness Tournament, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's an extremely tough holiday tournament. But it also, on the flip side of that, puts a big circle on your back, right? Like, hey, listen, I can beat a ranked kid.
Yep.
And I know Mark Savota's looking at that match thinking, hey, this is a kid.
He wants to get that he wants to get that signature win for sure.
A lot of wrestling fans in attendance here, a lot of alumni. It's alumni night here in Hastings. As Graham gets the early takedown and tries to lock up a cradle. He's got it locked up tight, but loses the grip. Still got that crossface, though, if he wants to use that as a butcher.
Yep, and there he goes right to a butcher. He's just not sure which one he wants to commit to. And now it looks up. That was awesome. Did you see how far he extended that hand to lock up the cradle?
Yep.
He does have it locked up, I believe. Now, Granberg's kind of in a weird
back to
position.
That cradle.
There it is.
Here, it's locked up pretty tight. He's only got the hand locked on, not his grip completely together.
Into a ball and chain position.
If he can bring his hands together, he's got this locked up tight.
Now it is.
There it is.
Wow, just strong on that bottom position. Doesn't want to get him up a turn.
Knee in the back, trying to bring him back. Yeah. Granberg staying tough, though. Wow.
Yikes, his hips are trying to stay glued as much as possible, but he's got that shoulder kind of pinned off to the side. There he goes. He gets pocket to pocket.
And call potentially dangerous here.
Okay.
Wow, Granberg's so flexible.
Yeah, and you saw that shoulder was the thing that was really stopping him. He kept his hips down. But the other thing I really liked is he didn't give him pressure going the opposite way. Because sometimes when you push into that lock, that's where a roll through comes in.
So just watching this first period, Graham looks awfully tough on top. Very, very comfortable in that position. All right, end of one period. 3-0 lead for John Graham, the 8th ranked wrestler in AAA. He does defer Wayzata's choice. They're going to go back neutral. Does not want to go underneath Graham, and I don't blame him.
No. He had that cradle locked up. You don't want to get turned in. He did a great job fighting it off, and it was for a while, about 20 seconds. But you don't want to test it out again.
No. So Wayzata's going to roll out in the next couple weights, a couple seniors. And these, we talked about those glue guys that are really going to make a difference for your team. This is where you got to really get gritty and tough and find a way to win. For the Hastings Raiders last round, it was Hunter Hoff who had the big pin to kind of propel us to victory. Obviously, a bunch of guys had big wins, but Hunter was the one that really was the kind of the hero of the day, along with Elijah Christopher.
Yeah, and I was talking to Coach Luke Fight after that match, kind of in that alumni row, and we were really highlighting Hunter Hoff.
Yeah, just wrestling with so much confidence.
Yep.
And sometimes you just need one senior to catch fire to kind of propel your team to that next level.
Right.
John Graham in a Russian tie, but loses grip. Going to call stalling on Wayzata. Granberg's got to circle and got to be more aggressive. He's just kind of backing away, blocking off shots.
Oh, there.
Graham in
now,
on a shot now.
and the second that happens, you open up just a little bit. Graham takes advantage. He's got his head on one side, feet on the other. Great takedown. Now you sit there and you see that your opponent was called for stalling, and maybe you start turning up the heat just a little bit more, right? Because now they have to adjust. They have to open up a little bit more.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds left in the second period. Granberg's already got one for stalling. He's down 6-0 in this match. He's got to get going. Even in a little thing like an escape, even getting a point on the board can really help your motivation.
Now again, there's that stall call off on Graham. All he wants to do, the ref wants him to move off of those hips, so allow the bottom wrestler to move a little bit as well.
Kind of like that though.
Yeah,
making that guy get off the side and really look for a turn.
Yeah,
potentially dangerous on this.
I do like it as well. You know, it keeps the idea of offense. Everything's got to be offense. It's not just, you're not trying to slow the match down with all defense. It's that push for offense.
He's been really consistent with that too.
Yes.
In multiple matches, as he called the offensive wrestler on top for stalling.
But there's been several times Prior Lake, gosh, they are so good at getting wrists on top.
Yeah, they are.
And once they have your wrists, you're not getting away.
No. So after 2 periods, it'll be a 6-0 lead for John Graham. His choice is going neutral. He knows a takedown gets him that major decision. Coach Block giving him instructions. This is where we're going. They had no success really turning them. And frankly, Granberg is tough to turn.
Yeah, Granberg has been very tough to turn, right? He's gotten 2 takedowns. If you're Graham, you got 2 takedowns. You also have a stall call against Granberg, right? So do you start pushing the pace a little bit more? Granberg getting on a shot. Can he finish, though? He's got that one hand. I'm looking to possibly lock behind here. Smart hips by Graham. Going for that last takedown. He's coming across the face. Nicely done.
Good hips by Graham.
Yes, but you slowly saw that hand just kind of crawling up the arm, pushing that nose away. That is not a comfortable position to be in.
No, Granberg got deep on that shot. But
it was
just
very
stopped
good.
moving. And we've seen it a couple times in this match where the Wayzata kids especially get deep on a shot and they just get stuck.
Yeah, and he had the leg originally, and then he kind of went away from his lock. There's a turn.
Now we got a tilt. You got bonus points here. Already locked up the major decision. Now he's working for a potential tech fall. He's going to get the 4-point near fall. That'll take the lead to 13-0. He needs one more turn. You can see he's looking at the clock. He's going to break his grip. And now we can go back to it. See Coach Block saying, we need one more. We need one more.
He's got the arm bar. He switched from that arm, from that wrist,
got that shoulder down
to the arm bar.
Oh, he's close. He's going to get the turn here.
He's got the tech for sure. Now he's working for the fall.
Boy, I'm looking forward to a
Did you see him grab that wrist?
Yes.
Oh, he's pulling that back, which flattens out that near shoulder and allows you to almost get your hips off of his head. Sits out. This is tight.
Boy, I really hope that Mark Sabota and John Graham get to wrestle in the next round. I think that would be a great match.
I think that would be a fun one. He's sitting down, like he's sitting on his butt, right, and he's pulling those arms as much as he possibly can, looking for that takedown. Granberg somehow.
All right, he's going to get the 4-point near fall. That goes from a major decision to a tech fall in about 30 seconds with 2 turns.
And how he didn't get pinned on that? I mean, that was crazy.
All right, that'll extend the lead to 22-10. Those are big, big points for Prior Lake.
Yeah, and now you're looking at, as your Prior Lake, here's the time where let's hold
got to
off,
get moving,
right?
Yeah, and this is the point where if you're Wayzata, you got to get wins.
Yes.
You got Julio Gonzalez, who looked really tough in the last round. He's going to wrestle Scott Hendricks, a senior from Prior Lake. They might throw out Garrett Wood. Let's see who they send out here. All right, so this is Julio Gonzalez, like we said, a senior. All right, so they're going to send out Garrett Wood instead, the junior. So senior versus junior here. Julio Gonzalez looked super tough in the last round. He teched Bear Boardman. Really tough in that top position. He got taken out right away, and then it was all Gonzalez the rest of the match.
Yeah, and Garrett Wood being, I believe, he's about 500 on the season, right? Whenever I'm looking at these two wrestlers, just the way Julio Gonzalez wrestled, I think I give him the favor a little bit, just the way
I think so
his
too.
style
But again,
was.
we don't know a ton
No.
about Garrett Wood outside
And look
of
at that again.
Good shot attempt.
And right as I say that, he never quit on that shot.
No.
Those are that he locked his hands, kept his hips going towards Julio Gonzalez. Excellent takedown. A grinding of a takedown.
Yes. And again, we're basing that off of one match that we saw. Gonzalez looked really tough on top, but he got taken down in the first 30 seconds, much like this match.
Yep.
Got the escape, then he got a takedown, and then it was all Gonzalez the rest of the match.
But now he's got an armbar coming across. Very nice by the junior.
Yeah, Garrett Wood looking very solid, well in control of this match so far. He's got that armbar locked up, controlling those hips.
As he's driving Julio
Gonzalez up to
Gonzalez.
his feet, see if he can get his leg back.
Now, if you're Wood, you got to be careful. Smart, dropping down on that far leg there.
Boy, I'm impressed with these Prior Lake wrestlers. They came to wrestle tonight. They know that they've kind of been slighted a little bit in the rankings.
Yes, but
beat a lean and mean team like Wayzata helps your chances a lot.
For sure, but then think about the teams. Again, we keep going back to the teams they've wrestled. You have a kid like Garrett Wood. He's 500 on the season, but the amount or the level of competition he's seen is very high.
Yes. Like we said, that South Suburban Conference in itself, boy, you run against some buzzsaws in that weight class alone.
And it prepares you for matches, close duels like this.
Yeah, and I will tell you that Prior Lake has a lot of good kids in their room, so numbers are not an issue, and I'm sure they have good practice partners each and every day. But I was looking a little bit at 160, 152, how many guys are ranked in that section. I mean, there's a handful of guys that are right there.
And you sit there, and that's a tough section to get through.
Yeah, it's really tough. All right, 3-0 early lead for Garrett Wood as we enter the second period. He's going to go back on his feet. He does not want to go underneath Julio Gonzalez, and I can't blame him.
No, once he threw the boots in before, riding legs, nobody wants to go underneath that.
Well, and he had that tilt that he kept going to.
Yes, over and over again.
Yeah, he was so tough with that cross-arm tilt, and once he got on top, he just got it time after time against Barrett Borman. And it kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest with you.
But again, tied up those wrists, and he rolled through each and every time.
Got to get a takedown to get to it. Still plenty of time in the second period. Over a minute left.
Oh, nice
low
shot.
single.
This guy trying to elevate. Yep.
Good hips there by Gonzalez, so to create some separation.
That was a very good recovery. And now if you're looking at your Garrett Wood, you're extended. You want to get your hips back underneath you. Your knees underneath you.
It's close to a takedown here if we can elevate that ankle. And they run out of bounds.
Again, he got in nice and deep, right? Nice and deep on that shot. Gonzalez was able to swing his hips back out. But then again, Wood understands the position. Get your hips underneath you.
Yep.
Continue to work. And that takedown that he had in the first period was not a perfectly clean double, right?
No.
It was a grinding of a double. And just got underneath, got his hips underneath.
Boy, if you're Prior Lake though in this match, if you can get the win in this one, you're in the driver's seat. You really are. You're going to be favored at heavyweight.
Yep.
Probably going to be favored in the next match. You're in
but
good
here's
shape.
a good flurry
good
here.
takedown. All right, and this is where he likes to be. He's going to go right to this roll. We talked about it. He's tough here. He's getting back points. He's going to get the 4-point near fall.
And it doesn't look like much, right?
Yeah.
But he's so quick, sucking those hips back into him, controlling the arm. That was a very, very smart move.
He takes a 3-point match and makes it all of a sudden a 7-3 match. He's going to go top.
I think it's 6-3. He only got 3 back points on that.
Okay.
Yep.
He's going top. Of course he is.
And all he is he's tying up that wrist, tying up that elbow, rolling through.
Yeah, and once he gets that wrist control, game over. Such good hips, and that's such a feel move that you just have to get used to. He's got that wrist again.
But watch him. And as he's rolling through, he's trying to catch that far leg. Somehow is able to.
Off to an armbar now.
Wood is able to get that arm wrist free underneath. Now he's back to an armbar.
Gonzalez so tough on top. He's got that armbar tilt now. See if he can bring him over with it. Switches off to something else.
And that kind of
go back to his bread and butter. There it is. Gets more takedowns. He just gets him right in his lap.
Yep, and you can see that right leg is trying to elevate it as much as possible.
Now it's 10-3.
He shows the ref that, here, I'm letting go of this. Now he's back on that wrist.
Yeah, and for wrestling fans that are tuning in, if you let go of the grip and then relock it, you'll get another
And there
set
it is
of
again.
near fall points. Again, man, is he tough with that.
He's trying to elevate that ankle. He got a quick 2 count.
Breaks the grip again. It's now 12-3. Now he's got the major. Wow, he went from being down to all of a sudden having a major decision in about a minute. Gonzalez so tough on top. He's back on the tilt again.
Holy cow. And again, he's trying to control that far leg. You got 3 this time.
Should be 15-3 now. He's awfully close to attack fall, and he's got
Holy
35
cow.
seconds.
What a comeback. Just controlling one position in this match on top.
Yes. You knew it was coming.
And you got the stall call, so it's now 16-3.
Needs one more turn. That's all he needs. 18 seconds. Oh, now they're going to go takedown game. Good shot attempt there.
He's got, if you look on the feet, Garrett Wood's done an awesome job.
Yeah, he really has.
Right? Getting deep in that shot, trying to finish here. Little flurry. He's got the seatbelt. Nothing.
Hips in, but nothing. That'll be a major decision for Wayzata. But boy, what a comeback by Julio Gonzalez.
Took
I'm
the
impressed.
words out of my mouth.
To be down 3-0 about halfway through the second period, to get the takedown, near fall, and then just to control that top position.
Yeah,
impressive work.
Once you get that takedown, you know you're right back into your bread and butter, right? Just could get those tilts. Very nice.
Yeah, that'll take us to 172 pounds, where Parker Glade's going to take the mat for Wayzata. He's going to take the mat against Charlie Nelson for Prior Lake. Now, on paper, you have to feel like Prior Lake has an advantage here.
I'd say a slight advantage. Charlie Nelson placing 4th at sections, 3rd at the Ellsworth Invitational. Looks like.
Although Parker Glade,
but
not a bad kid. He's 500 record on the season. Deep on a shot though. Nice finish there for Charlie Nelson. Early 3-0 lead for Nelson. Again, this is kind of a match where you feel like Prior Lake's kind of favored. You also think that they're favored at heavyweight, obviously.
Yep.
189, you think advantage Wayzata. And then 215, that could be an interesting one.
It's going to be that one, definitely. I don't know too much about the Prior Lake 215
They
pounder.
have a kid named Isaiah Olabuddy.
Okay. I've seen him wrestle. I've seen...
Olabudi, excuse me. I even got the pronunciation from him directly.
Nicely done.
Well, I'm doing the best I can.
You do a great job.
But again, that could be an interesting one. We had Kamari and Prowl at 215. He's a big move wrestler. I'd love to see that one against Olabudi. That could be an interesting one. Boy, I do like those old school ASIC Tigers that Prior Lake kid is rocking. Those are awesome.
I tell you what, the old school, just really flat bottom too.
Yeah.
It feels weird on your foot. If you ever put your foot into a true old school wrestling shoe, it feels so weird on your foot.
Those are the first edition of Dan Gable shoes right there. Goes into that armbar. We saw Hunter Hoff pin him in the first match with this very same move.
But he needs to just pin that right shoulder down to the mat, and he's not able to do it. With 20 seconds left, he's in a good position. You want to drive that shoulder through the ear. There it goes.
About 15 seconds to go to work here. Try to get those shoulders flattened out. See if you can do it. This would be big for the team score. And he gets the pin. Charlie Nelson with a big pin for Prior Lake. Those are big team points in this match, and that takes the match from 22-14 to 28-14.
And I believe, unless something crazy happens, if you look at 285 now, they still have a possibility. But with Zern at heavyweight, that might have kind of iced it right there.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we go to 189. Thomas Wickoff is going to take on Cale Limbeck. Cale Limbeck, the junior, looked pretty tough in the first match. He's going to take the mat against Wickoff.
And I would favor, if I'm looking at this match, I'd favor Wayzata in this one.
I would too. All right, so
just kind of going right into that slide-by position.
We saw Limbeck. He's really long, lanky. He's got a lot of leverage. We saw him wrestle Adrian Fuks. He's tough to score on. He tried to go up. We tried to go upper body with him in the first match. Didn't go very well.
No, he had better, definitely in a better position on that upper body. Both of them kind of locked up, and Limbeck just finished. Nice shot.
See if he can drive and finish here. Drives across, gets the takedown.
Yep, picks him right up, right, keeps him under control, brings him down to the mat.
A little bit about Limbeck. He's a junior, 8th at the Christmas tournament, 3rd at the Ken Dragamiller, and 8th Ethan Herman invites. He's had a really solid season.
Yeah, 8th at the Christmas tournament. That is one of the toughest tournaments all year long.
Put that in perspective. The Christmas tournament is a combination of all 3 classes together,
Yep.
along with some top schools from North Dakota, Wisconsin, South Dakota. You're talking super tough tournament.
Very, very
you
tough
place in the
Midwest
top 8 in
tournament.
that tournament, you are legit.
Yes.
Now, Limbeck at 189 pounds in the same section as, let's see here, there's some tough kids there. Can he make it out? That's my question. I'm looking at the rankings as we talk. Section 5 is where Wayzata's at.
Yep, and he
Current
took
rankings.
and he was, I believe, he took 8th in sections last year. So he's just trying to climb that
Limbeck,
piece.
I'm talking
Limbeck. I
so
apologize.
Limbeck right now has the top ranked wrestler in the entire state, John Murphy from St. Michael Albertville, but
Yep.
there's no one else ranked in his section.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a chance. I got to be honest. I think he's got a good chance. I mean, what I've seen out of him today, he looks like he's ready to take that next step.
Yes, and again, you look at. I don't know how the entire year went, but anytime I see on paper that you placed at that Christmas tournament,
Yeah.
you're for real.
Yep.
Right. You're in the top. Maybe if your name is not in that top 10 in the state, you got to be top 20 for sure. Right.
Yes. Agreed. All right. So at 215 though, the next weight class, Wayzata is without one of their state-ranked guys in Aiden Fartazak. Not on the roster tonight. Didn't come to weigh-ins. I'm not sure what the story is there, but he's not on the roster tonight. We hope that he can wrestle for sections. If you're a Wayzata parent tuning in, please let us know if we missed something on that. But talking to Coach Jake Johnson, former Hastings alum, kind of gave me the lowdown, the intel on what to expect tonight, without giving away too many secrets.
Didn't want to give away too many secrets, right?
All right, so just under a minute. Limbeck, early 3-0 lead.
But the other thing is, going into this broadcast, I kind of want to. You mentioned about Jake Johnson giving you a little lowdown. Swenson, the head coach, sent us an email just kind of giving you a heads up about, hey, here's our lineup. Here's some kids. This is what our season has gone. He's very proud of his program. He's very proud of the kids that he has. But it tells you again about the kind of person and the leader they have in that room.
And we do a lot of matches for Hastings. We even do some play-by-play for Augsburg. And we always email the coaches in advance just to say, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what we're covering. Can you help us out a little bit? I would say about 25% of the time do we get a response back from our coach.
Right.
And I really appreciate when they do, because it makes our job a lot easier. And so for Eric Swenson to take the time to do that really does help us out.
Absolutely. We appreciate it every time.
And we like to hype up these programs too. We got a lot of respect for Wayzata and Prior Lake. They're perennial top 15, top 10 programs.
Anytime you have 3 of the top 15 teams in the state in one gym, just makes for a great night of wrestling. We've had fans. The bleachers have been packed all night.
Yep.
Right now, with one team leaving, some people will filter out, but then other people will filter back in.
Yep.
It's a great night for wrestling.
So Limbeck deep on a shot again. Wickoff trying to get his hips back. He's going to drive, lift, extend.
He's keeping the legs split. He's working for that, almost that Turk position. Just keep those legs split. Oh, man, smart job by Wickoff. Controlling. Once he got brought down to the mat, he crawls forward.
He's going to cut him again. It's now 6-1. Limbeck able to get deep on some shots already twice. In the front headlock, see if he can score here. Pops his head out, gets another takedown. It's now 9-1.
Yep, and
that
was that tough.
Goes right to that front headlock again.
There's that
head in the hole again. Might just circle behind and get the takedown here. Trying to lock up a cradle.
Just can't get it. Wickoff smartly extending out. He's got his wrist. Then once he pops up his head, that's another 3.
Takedown. 12-1 now.
Oh, he didn't. I don't think the ref gave him the escape
really?
on that one. Yep.
No loss of control.
He kind of kept his hands on top and then went right back in it before
so
the
still
escape
9-1.
was
Now they're
given.
giving him the escape. Now it's 9-2 as blood time continues for Limbeck as he's bleeding through his bandage here.
Yeah, look at that. Is that a wrestling look or what?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, see a lot of wrestling fans in the stands now. If you would have stuck around for that first, if you'd been here for the first dual meet, it was packed with Hastings alumni. How many Hastings alumni would you guess were here tonight for that showing?
Oh gosh, I know Coach Hannenberg was sending out emails left and right. I was getting my phone was buzzing with all the notifications he was sending out. We had close to, I don't know if we hit 100, but it was close to it. I think our all-time record was 106.
Holy cow!
Got one of them, yeah. Coach Hannenberg has done a great job bringing back kids or guys in the program, and tonight is one of my favorite nights of the year when it comes to wrestling, especially because I haven't seen a lot of those guys since the last alumni night. I got to see a kid I wrestled with for a very long time, Aaron Ostertag, absolutely fantastic guy. Got to see or talk about him and his family. I get to see guys like Glenn Peterson. Can't go anywhere without Glenn. But yes,
what's
I
cool
love
though is
alumni
wrestling
night.
is such a family sport. Even though it's an individual sport, there's such a family component behind it. You see a lot of wrestling names here in Hastings. You know, like thinking about like the Zajaks, right? Third generation wrestling taking the mat tonight.
But
Landon's grandparent.
But here's the other cool thing is we're at a point where we've coached for a while, right?
Yep.
I think you've hit you're over 15 years now.
I am.
I think I'm right around 13. So now alumni for Hastings are also wrestlers that we had in our room. It is so cool.
It's kind of surreal, to be honest with you. Limbeck in on a shot. No success. Good double unders there by Wickoff as they run out of bounds.
And Wickoff continuing to go forward, right? He's like, oh, what the heck? Let me go after it.
Yes.
I love it. Love the attitude.
Got a little pep talk from his coaches as they had a little intermission there in the blood time. All right, referee's just going to take the bandage off and say, let's go, boys. Here we go. Tosses it off and wants to keep wrestling here.
Oh, and if you're sitting there on that slide by, I want him to follow it.
Nice
into
shot
a
there by Limbeck. Elevates, drives, another takedown. Now 12-2.
No, I believe that's 4 takedowns and 4 times he's been picked up.
Yep.
That's just pure power.
Limbeck a powerful kid.
Yes.
I'm going to take a guess that Limbeck probably plays football too for the Wayzata Trojans.
If he doesn't, get a coach on him.
Yeah,
right?
he's powerful. Prior Lake and Wayzata, two of the biggest schools in the state of Minnesota. And both have really good football programs.
Continuing
athletics
to
in
work
general.
around behind.
Another takedown
Lifts.
for Limbeck. Man, he is just putting on a clinic of takedowns here. 15-2 now.
And they're trying to
Third
cut him
period.
one more
They
time.
want this tech
we
fall.
want one more takedown for it.
One more takedown, we'll get the tech fall. Let's see if we can get it. And we got blood time to think about it as well. All right, so again, we talked about it. Let's say we get the tech fall here. That'll take us to 28-19. Not a lot of weight classes left.
Nope.
215. You'd have to pin out essentially.
Right, and that's gonna be tough. But when you look at Brock Zern currently ranked in the top of the state, taken first at the Christmas tournament. I believe he's ranked number 2, right? And then you have Briggs Opp, who's he's not a beginning wrestler. He is a state qualifier himself as a junior. So you never know. You never know. But in that matchup, you got to give
You favor the second ring.
Right.
Guy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Brock Zern, the Christmas tournament champion. I mean, he's a hammer. All right, we need one more takedown, though. We got 90 seconds to get it. Limbeck's been in on these legs so many times. Just a powerful young man. Kind of goes to an over-tie position.
Going out of bounds here. Got a minute left to work trying to get that takedown.
Limbeck really does a good job with those head fakes in on that shot again. But good hips there by Wickoff.
He's extended. Oh, but he
drives across, gets takedown, and there is the tech
and
fall.
you can see the knees going
Trojan.
forward for the takedown. Again, worked through the body. I don't know how many times I've said it. I think it's been a lot. but you just got to continue to get your hips underneath you.
All right, that'll take us 215 pounds. This is a match I'm looking forward to. Two very athletic kids going at it with Isaiah Olabodi, for Prior
he
Lake,
nailed it.
and Kamarian Prowl for Wayzata.
Yeah, and the Olabodi has been wrestling. I saw he wrestled at the beginning of the year for the varsity team, and then something must have happened because he hasn't been wrestling the last month.
Yeah,
it's been a
I think they've tried a couple different guys there. I think they had Lucas Knudsen in there too. They've tried different guys in this weight class.
So I always wonder about that. Does that, was it, here goes almost to a throw position.
Yeah, we know Kamarian Prowl loves the upper body. UW River Falls commit to play football.
Oh, down and on the leg.
Big throws as they go out of bounds. I love it, just going for it.
Yeah. And it wasn't a pretty shot, but it was an overpowering shot, right?
Olabodi just going for it, driving into him.
And you can see Elijah Christopher for Hastings watching this match carefully, seeing what's going to happen at 215 pounds when he wrestles.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch, here, but I feel like Prior Lake always has a good 215er heavyweight.
They had
always.
I remember back in the day when I was wrestling, they had a guy named Jake Conkey. He was very, very good.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he was a horse.
Just a history of hammers in the upper weights. I don't know what is in the water in Prior Lake, but they build them big and they build them strong, and Coach Block gets them all for wrestling.
Smart, and I don't know if he's going to the football team and trying to recruit as ninth graders, but he's doing a really good job.
Yes, he is. And he obviously must have a good relationship with their football program because, boy, he's getting those football players out.
Yeah.
All right, still scoreless with just under 45 seconds left in this match. We're at the 215-pound weight class. The heavyweights are going to be stepping up, and that should be a good one with two state-ranked, state qualifiers, state place winners going at it as well. We're going to see some great matches to finish up this dual meet. And then stick around for the last match of the night where Prior Lake and Hastings are going to take the mat to finish the night. We knew that there's going to be some close duels, and it hasn't disappointed tonight. They're going to call stalling on Olabodi as Prowl runs him off the mat.
Yeah, he just kind of continues to push, right? He's working into that underhook position. As he works for it, all he's doing is waiting for pressure to come back for a throw. Controlling that wrist. There's the end. Now it's a 0-0 match going into the second period. The question is, what do you want to do? They go down. Prior Lake wants to score for it first. I love the mentality.
So you know I'm a huge stat guy.
I know you are a nerd.
I am a complete nerd.
I love it, by the way. It's awesome.
It is fun. And so you got me thinking now about all the Prior Lake heavyweights, and I'm gonna do a little intel and research as we're calling up this because man, there's been so many good guys that have come through Prior Lake in the last couple of years. Again,
so are you going to be looking at previous state tournament? Oh, yep, you got the brackets going.
You think I'd be doing that while I'm commentating?
Yeah, and gosh, you are a great multitasker.
My wife would disagree on that.
Oh. We'll rock, paper, scissors for that battle.
Oh, man. 1-0 lead here for Prior Lake.
Going under overs again. Oh, smart choice. Prowell's just kind of pushing in. He gets the stall call there. I believe that's the second one. It is 1-1 in the second period. Minute 25 left. Prowell's just continuing with those underhooks, trying to get into that.
Just wants to go upper body, and I love it. I'm
loving
loving every minute of it.
I want to see a big throw.
And you can't keep your eyes off of it.
Right. You know, for an unbiased observer on this one, I want to see a big throw.
Oh, absolutely. You want to see fireworks.
Correct. And you've already seen, you've seen Olabodi go for a takedown. Oh, here it is.
Here it is.
Oh, he just didn't have it.
Right to his back. Olabodi's going to get it. Just couldn't feel the pressure.
He just kept going, kept pushing, and all he did was walk his legs right into Olabodi. Olabodi drops down on the legs smartly, drops him down.
I kind of love it, though.
Yes.
It's fun to watch. I tell you, no fear. Prowl has no fear. He just goes for it every time.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's done it a few times.
Yes. You got to have some confidence to do that.
Oh,
they're going to forfeit at heavyweight. Okay. So there's Brock's there, and they're going to forfeit to him. So Prior Lake's going to end up winning this duel pretty convincingly.
Okay.
All right, so that'll take us to the end of the duel meet as we get to the finish score of 40-19, a dominant victory by Prior Lake over the Wayzata Trojans. We're going to be back in action for our last triangular duel meet of the night. It's going to be Prior Lake versus Hastings, the finale, coming up in just a little bit. I'm Kyle Kreiser, as always, joined by Mitch Sheeman. Stick around, wrestling fans, because we got some more good wrestling action coming your way in just a little bit.